Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. Everyone, welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show presented by Bettor Sports Network. I'm your host, as always, by my co-hosts John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
What up? Let's go.
Guys, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Tommy in here. Yo. Time for the show. Time for the shay. And Tommy saying Isaiah Likely. Coop, good call.
From the future. Dude, the funny thing about that Isaiah Likely call is that, like, we were all so ready to start him. We all thought about it all day, all week even. Thought hard, looked at all the numbers, and then Mark Andrews was active, and we all took him out of our lineups. And then Mark Andrews got hurt, a different injury, and then he was awesome. So at least now we know, right, for the future.
He looked good, man. He looked real good.
Yeah, he's not particularly fast, but, like, I'm telling you, opportunity is everything. Like, Zach Ertz has never been fast, but you give the guy 150 targets, it's magic. So
Magic.
I'm in unlikely in Dynasty for sure. Now we know, and now it makes Mark Andrews even more powerful, honestly, because if you have Mark Andrews, now you know that if he's out, you have Mark Andrews Jr., you know?
Yeah.
Like, so this is a situation where maybe you would roster two tight ends, like in redraft. Would that be a strategy? Would you get your backup or no?
So it would need to be very deep leagues, and especially 10 and premium. Like a league where I would take no chances with it is if I had Mark Andrews in like a Scott Fish Bowl, I would roster Isaiah Likely because you roster like 22 players. But if you're in a normal league where it's like 12 teams and you only have like 4 or 5 bench spots, you can't be holding tight end handcuffs, I don't think. Right? Maybe for now until we see what's going on with Mark Andrews, but it's kind of tough to hold your tight ends back.
Yeah, that's fair. Maria in the chat saying good morning. What's up, Maria?
Good morning,
Welcome
Maria.
in. I see Craig over there as well. Craig, glad to have you in the chat. And Albert with the good morning, everyone.
Good
morning, Albert. Albert, you up early, bro.
Albert.
I got so used to hearing good afternoon from Albert that getting the good morning was threw me off a little bit.
Albert always comes in with the good vibes. Yeah, Albert never doesn't have the good vibes.
I will say this dude too about Albert, Craig, Scampers, Toronto Dave. Like these dudes are champions.
The goats.
Because they'll hang in the morning with us, 7 in, and then like I'll go on like lightning round at 9:30 Eastern time. Boom, Albert in the chat saying what up, dude. Supporting
goats,
the
man.
boys, dude.
Y'all
hanging
are the
out
best.
with the squad. So, dude, nothing cooler than that. Thank you guys. The best.
We love you.
Craig wants to know, do you guys use handcuffs anywhere other than in fantasy football? So, JL, is there any place else in your life where handcuffs come into play?
Yeah, every time I go over to Keith's house.
Yeah, just we can leave it there. Just every time you go over to Keith, of course you guys use handcuffs.
Just leave that to the imagination.
Every time there's Diet Coke in my house and I'm going to sleep, I handcuff myself to the bed to make sure I don't drink it in the middle of the night. Otherwise, I'm going to go to the fridge and like chug 4 cans of it at 2 a.m. when I wake up.
Tommy in the chat saying, I had Likely at the captain spot, switched him out for Drake, won $200, would have won $198,000. So pretty big swap there, Tommy. But hey, $200, my man.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like
you could have had 198K.
Doesn't that suck? That it makes the 200 a little less sweet. Like knowing that a decision you made right before threw it off. Like
yes, it ruins it completely. I don't even want that $200. Get it out of my face.
Yeah. The thing is, though, if Andrews didn't get hurt, then you would have did the right thing. You know, Drake had a nice little run there. Got a game-winning run almost, you could say. But we'll get into that game eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as like players to put in your captain spot, Kenyon Drake was one of the best you could have put there. So you're right. But it's just switching from the guy that would have won you 198,000 to the guy that won you nothing. Guys, there was some stuff that went down yesterday after we got off the air. First, I wanted to talk about the Kadarius Toney trade. Kadarius Toney traded to the Chiefs. It looks like for a conditional 3rd round pick and a 6th round pick. Kind of wild. Did you say not spicy?
I said hot spicy.
Oh, hot spicy. Coop.
I was gonna say, how is that not spicy? It's like the most spicy player.
He's seen 3 targets so far this year on the Giants. Hasn't really played much. What are you expecting from him whenever he goes over to the Chiefs?
I mean, if he can get healthy, this guy is explosive, dude. I can imagine, because the funny part is that, like, when you look at the game, go back and watch the highlights just from the Cowboys game last year. This guy was putting Trevon Diggs on skates. He had like 180 yards. His knees are moving in ways that, science still trying to figure out how it's possible. But this guy he's the spiciest dude, goes to the spiciest landing spot. So I love trades like this.
Yeah, I'm like less optimistic. I'm sitting here like I hear what you're saying. I see the upside. I see why the excitement's there. Yeah. I think the most realistic outcome is just nothing. Like he's joining a wide receiver room with Sky Moore, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce's there as the primary target. Like maybe you get a good game or 2 out of him over the back half of the season, but I just don't see him being fantasy relevant.
Oh, that's the most realistic outcome. But first off, boo. Second of all, boring, boring, right? Like it's more exciting to say that this guy is going to be an animal. So, and it's possible.
I mean, when we
possible.
saw him in New York, he was good, right? Yeah. He was explosive. He's just like popping off. So maybe, they traded for him. That's sort of how I think about these things, is like these coaches are giving up stuff to get these guys. They're going to have at least some inclination to use them.
Oh, I just hope that they give him ample opportunity to talk in these press conferences, because every time that guy gets a chance to speak, it's electric. I don't know if you've seen a lot of Kadarius Toney interviews.
I have not.
Oh, dude, he is awesome, man. He is. I mean, first off, he's a rapper. Second off, he's from Florida. So like right there, you're getting magic anytime he gets on the mic. This guy, he's willing to say what he means. Going back to like when he was a rookie, before he even like played at all, he said he was basically like, I don't know what the team's doing. They got a Lamborghini sitting here in the garage, talking about himself before he even played. So like, yeah. So this guy, he's a lot of fun, one way or the other.
I almost made the same analogy like 30 seconds ago. I was like, yeah, you don't buy a new car and then just leave it in the garage.
Oh yeah, Tony's already said that about himself.
Damn it! I wouldn't have said Lamborghini, Tony, but
yeah,
I get it.
He might have said Ferrari.
New car. Honda Civic.
Hey, some of those Civics, you get a nice Civic hatchback with the sport trim.
Do they still make the Civic?
They do still make the Civic. At least they did as of 20. I guess last time I checked was 2019 when I was looking to purchase a car.
There you go.
I was going to buy a Honda Civic. I was going to fly to Philly, hop in a Honda Civic, and drive it back to Atlanta. And then I found out if you're 26, have been in an accident, and have 3 speeding tickets, you're borderline uninsurable as a dude. So I did not buy that Honda Civic. I bought a $2,000 beater, and I'm still running it into the ground to this day.
Nice. He said, yes, they're still making Civics. How do you know that, Keith?
He probably buys one each year. He's a Civic aficionado. He has a collection of Civics. You can go to his house and just see the entire evolution of the Honda Civic in display in his backyard.
Wow.
I think actually once you become a resident of Rhode Island, they actually just give you a Honda Civic lowered all the way to the ground where you can barely go over speed bumps, and they put lights underneath that are going off at all times. And
those are sweet.
Yeah.
Saw those in Fast and Sexy.
Pretty much every dude every 20-something-year-old dude in Rhode Island is a Fast and Furious guy.
It's funny how the cool car changes based on I grew up in Georgia, right? Like Metro Atlanta, outside the city. the cool car for like the dudes at my school was like a lifted truck or a like jacked up Jeep, right? There were no sports cars at my high school. Like that wasn't a thing. People didn't have sports cars or lowered cars or anything like that. And then you talk about people growing up in like the Northeast, the Midwest. It's not as much about the truck. It's more about the sports car. I don't even know what it's called. What's the opposite of lift, Coop? What do you call that?
Lower.
The lower kit.
Yeah. The lower kit. Or I mean, the one that does both is called hydraulic kit. The one where you can go up or down. You have like a little switch. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like when you're sitting next to a truck and all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
What is this called?
Hydraulics.
Right?
Yeah. And like you know, you can, if they're really jacked up, you can like bounce the front of the car, like in all the old like the videos of like Snoop and stuff. West Coast guys.
Tommy said making your car jump. Absolutely. Craig said, so you guys take comfort in that you have a brand new Prius in the garage for this show if needed? Keith, is Keith a brand new Prius?
I wouldn't say brand new.
He's a 2018 Prius C, the discount version. 2013?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? It's still running though. Maybe you got to start looking at that battery, but it's still going.
It is still going. Dude, Kate Otten had a pretty good game yesterday. We talked about him yesterday.
That's the boy, dude.
I mean, didn't really turn into fantasy points, but he was used a lot.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Anybody that looks at my tight end rankings, I post the. I do rankings twice a week. I do rest of season rankings, which is an article with like a little sentence on each player, and then on Thursdays I post my weekly rankings. You can go through those rankings and see exactly how they're broken down. Really, like the elite guys, and then you have the. It's like you have the elite guys, then you have like the safe, then upside guys, then it's upside guys, and then instead of going to the boring touchdown dependent guys, I go for these like crazy upside guys, like that have low floors. So you'd see like Juwan Johnson, Isaiah Likely, Kate Otten, they're all grouped together, and everyone's like, "Why are you so high on these guys?" And then they go out and get a bunch of targets. So we're chasing that. We're chasing that situation where rather than start Irv Smith again with 60% snap rate or whatever, go big, right? And Kate Otten did go big, so what's up?
But that touchdown taken away, I was celebrating. I was celebrating that touchdown, and then all of a sudden I see the flag, and I'm like, ugh. What was his final line? He didn't have a good fantasy game, right? Even though he got those 5 targets.
He had a lot of tight end air yards, if anything, but not a lot of. He had like he really just ended up with 2 for 15, but he had a lot of looks, right? A lot of looks in very important situations. What
was
a
it
play.
The first pass of the game to him? Like the game opened up, the ball went, and I was like, oh, we're about to cook. Like this is about to be for real.
Dude, Tom Brady just looked mad yesterday. He just looked like, I think I tweeted about this. He looked like he was about to quit the game. He was so angry. And I've been there, man. I've been in a game, like playing games like that where I'm just like so mad about playing it. I'm just like, oh, I'm done.
Like every game
forcing the ball in and stuff.
Every game of Monopoly ever. Just like
exactly.
But you have to finish it.
You have to finish.
Dude, Kyle Hamilton made a heck of a play on that one end zone target there with the game on the line. And the announcer did a good job pointing out to not put his hand, because that's where you get called coming around, and he's like, you put one hand on the guy's back and they call you for that. He basically like did like the waiter move where you put a hand behind your back and then go out with the other hand. Man, that was a hell of a play. Kyle Hamilton, if you've ever seen any of his highlights in Notre Dame, this guy is exciting, man. He's a special player. So
he's good. He's real good.
I had to see what he turns into.
Yeah, no, he looked really good. There's one play, the Scotty Miller. Did you guys see this? The Scotty Miller pass interference play? It's like a deep ball, and they played in slow motion. And when he played in slow motion, he goes and pulls the guy into him and then falls. And it was just like so comical in whenever they played the replay.
Especially that dude's gonna hate himself going back to watch that, because the ball was so underthrown. All he had to do was nothing, right?
All he had to do was not fall into to Scotty Miller and get into his little theater game.
Way she goes, dude.
Would have been absolutely brutal. That one was pretty funny, Joe. I love when they play a replay and it changes the entire way you viewed the play. Like, right? Like you're sitting there going like, what's that pass interference? And they replay it, and all of a sudden you're like, this was a wrestling match between Scotty Miller and
just pulled him into him. It's just like if DeAndre Hopkins is like Mozart when it comes to his drawing pass interference, this guy is like just got on SoundCloud.
He's
Dude,
a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah,
I used to
he just
hate.
created an account.
I used to hate the Ravens back when you guys had Flacco, man, because I feel like the entire offense was based on long pass interferences for a stretch there. You guys, used to,
Yeah.
you guys are like the masters of like 50-yard pass interferences, and it was terrible for fantasy football because you don't get any points for that. I was like,
Do those count for the team yards in the game?
no, dude, no. So you
No,
go and look at it, and it'd be like,
it's just
how
like
did they
100,
win?
120 yards, 40 points.
They put up 24 points in the game. They had 150 passing yards. Yeah. Who was it? It was there was one guy that you had that was just amazing at it. Smith. I gotta think of his name, dude. But he was like he was unstoppable at it.
Albert in here asking, would you guys start Hayden Hurst or Greg Dulcich full PPR? I think I know what Coop's gonna say.
Sorry, we missed
He
it.
loves Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst so the thing is, Hayden Hurst is now actually back on the menu because Jamar Chase is out. So if Jamar Chase is out, I actually do have Hayden Hurst ranked above Greg Dulcich. So conditions have changed, which is annoying for me because it was easy enough to say that this guy wasn't even a top 3 target on the team, but now he's probably battling for third with Joe Mixon. I still think Tyler Boyd's the second target. T. Higgins is obviously the number 1 target, but now the target's going to be a little more consolidated. I don't think Mike Thomas is going to take a huge chunk of those targets. Do you guys? Maybe he does.
That's not how I'm looking at it. I agree with you, Coop. I think Hayden Hurst becomes that third receiving option, potentially fourth behind Joe Mixon. But God, does that suck that Jamar Chase is out? I agree with you. It's Hayden Hurst with Jamar Chase out. But man, that news came in yesterday. I was on a call with Jet.
Tommy got it. Torrey Smith. Torrey Smith was the name I was looking for of a dude.
Yeah,
that
Torrey
Smith's
a good dude. Yeah, he actually does like a broadcast show at Ravens games, like at the stadium.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That dude was he was a master. He was a pass interference master. Like he was going downfield and racking up those yards that don't count.
I was on a call with Jay yesterday whenever the Jamar Chase news broke. And first, it didn't come from Schefter. There was just like this account that tweeted out Jamar Chase likely to miss 4 to 6 weeks. And Jay and I were sitting like, no, hopefully this isn't real. Like, this is just, I haven't seen this anywhere else. They haven't even been whispering about this. Like, I hadn't even heard Jamar Chase might miss Monday's game yet. I was like, no way that the first news we're getting is that he's going to be like on IR out 4 to 6 weeks. And then there it comes from Schefter rolling in. That one hurt yesterday. That one was a punch in the stomach.
I'll tell you, the moment I saw that account that tweeted it, that random account, I knew it was real. Because that dude Malik Wright, I got into it with that guy back before the draft. I was like, no chance did they draft a wide receiver. And that guy was like, I know for a fact they're drafting Jamar Chase. I was like, that would be so stupid. I was like, even if you're right, that'd be so stupid. And then I was like all mad at him. So I was like, and you're doing the team a disservice by letting people know who they're going to draft if you do know that. But I mean, that guy, I think that guy knows people. I'm fairly confident because he must just know Jamar Chase. I think that might be the case because he was breaking news that he was going to the team, and then he broke this. He's got somebody in there, Malik, right?
Maybe it's just a Jamar Chase burner, and he leaks information about himself over and over again.
Malik.
That's pretty funny.
That's why I picked the name Malik.
That you saw his name and you were like, "Oh, it's you again."
I was, yeah. I hold grudges for sure. He's on the list. I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, Malik, right?" But then I turned to my buddies and I was like, "Jamar Chase is definitely out." This guy, he be knowing.
So Tyler Boyd's kind of been a hot wide receiver over the past couple weeks. He's been putting it together even with Jamar Chase in. What's his outlook now that Jamar Chase is out for the next 4 to 6 weeks? Is Boyd a must-start hot wide receiver?
The answer is
yeah. Why I'd put him in the wide receiver 2 category. I think he lands firmly there with Jamar Chase being out. It's T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd show.
Here's the thing: this team is always going to use a blocking tight end at some point, whether it's Drew Sample or Mitchell Wilcox. When they have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, when they bring in the blocking tight end, Tyler Boyd comes out of the game. Now, Tyler Boyd stays in the game. He's going to play flanker, T. Higgins will be your split end. He'll play flanker, and then when they bring in Mike Thomas, he'll move to the slot, but he goes from being a part-time snap share guy to a full-time snap share guy, and that's the difference between Tyler Boyd and like Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin stays out there 2 wide receiver sets. Tyler Boyd doesn't. Well, now he does. So, boom.
Now he does.
Now he do.
Yeah, see, Alan Lazard said he probably will not play in week 8 against Buffalo.
He said that himself. They asked him, and he said probably
he
not.
He said that himself, yeah. Lazard told reporters that he heard a snap, crackle, and pop in his shoulder when he was tackled in the 3rd quarter in week 7.
He got Rice Krispied up,
dude. Yeah, you got that crispy shoulder, bro.
Well, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what does he say that regularly, or was Rice Krispies fresh on his mind? You know what I mean? That's not like a normal expression. Like was he like looking forward to the meal he was having when he was getting home? Like he was like, oh, I can't wait to get back and get some of those Rice Krispies.
If he's going home and eating Rice Krispies, bro, that is terrible.
Hey, Ricky B in the chat saying good morning, Ricky.
Good morning, Ricky B.
What's up, Ricky?
Ricky B.
Tommy said, put some marshmallows on it and get out there.
Get out.
That's what he said about his shoulder. Yeah, get some marshmallows in there and get out there.
JL, you threw a little soul on that Ricky B just now. You just like Ricky B. Yeah. I felt
Ricky B.
Ricky B.
Rice Krispied. Guys, we were talking a little bit earlier about how Tom Brady looked mad during that game, but did you see the report from Rick Stroud yesterday after the game? It said Tom Brady is still sitting at his locker, facing forward. His head was in his hands, and he had full pads on for several minutes. After removing them, he is still seated, staring ahead, talking some to Blaine Gabbert. That was what was reported. Tom Brady just sitting in his locker, staring straight ahead, talking to Blaine Gabbert, head in his hands.
That quote was so dramatic until you said Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah. It's so right.
It was all this like shitty product placement. Like, God, I'm so sad. The only thing that could cheer me up is this refreshing Coca-Cola.
Talking.
But it's Blaine Gabbert just paid to be included in this tweet. Like,
it's
like a promoted spot for Blaine Gabbert.
Talking softly to Daffy Duck. Like, just you could have expected a more cartoonish guy in my mind than Maria fan fiction.
Fan fiction.
Did you guys ever read? Did you guys ever read?
I'm just thinking about his perspective. Like, he's going through all this stuff in his personal life, and then he did all that. Yeah, Blaine Gabbert did all this. He put it all on the line to be on the field. He's not even getting the start. No, Tom Brady put it. He's essentially put his entire family life in jeopardy, seemingly to come back and play football, and then it's going so poorly. Like, that's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
Is this a coaching issue? Because I agree with you, Joe. Like, this is brutal. Is this a Tom Brady issue? Is this a coaching issue? Is this a personnel issue? Is it check, all three?
It's Todd Bowles might be not a good head coach.
I tweeted that yesterday. I think they're missing Bruce Arians for sure. And it's like, there was a number of very frustrating plays. Dude, Joe, your Ravens defensive line, they get their paws on that football, man. Good Lord, all of them. JPP, who's the guy? Washington had a couple of them.
3? He had 3, right?
The entire defense looked good yesterday. I said it yesterday, didn't I?
Dude.
I said they've been looking better.
Yeah. Batted balls. Man. Batted balls drive me nuts, man. Just let them just let them throw it.
Just
let them throw.
What's wrong with the batted ball here and there, Coop?
If they're fun when they get intercepted. When they just fall to the ground like an injured duck, I'm just like, next play, come on. That's the most frustrating thing for Brady, right? Especially if a guy's open and JBP is just like, nah.
Yeah.
Tommy in here said now he must suffer the consequences of being rich, good looking, and one of the best athletes ever. Tommy's got no sympathy. Just out here like, yeah, that's what you get, Tom Brady, for having such a great life prior to this. Welcome to the struggle bus, Tom. I mean, but it is the first time we saw this stat thrown out everywhere yesterday that he's 2 games under 500 in his entire career. He's never been 2 games under 500. And yesterday he did break a record. They mentioned it on the broadcast, but it wasn't one that he necessarily wanted to break. He passed Ben Roethlisberger as the most sacked quarterback of all time. They were talking about it on the broadcast. And then he just he's tied. If he gets sacked one more time, and now he has the record to himself. They hardly had time to finish the thought about saying he would take the record. And then all of a sudden, there's Tom Brady, sole owner.
Solo, yeah, he was. I was cracking up whenever he was taking off for runs, and then it just wasn't working. He'd get like lit up,
Yeah,
and then he'd throw down his hands and get up all mad.
I like how he got up and was like pulling dirt out of the knee brace, like looking at the ref. He's like, "You see this?" And then they go back to show the replay, and it's just because he slid on his own knee brace. Like,
I have a video on my phone. I went back and rewinded and took a video because after he goes down there and gets up, the ref is touching him in a really odd, like a completely unnecessary way. Like Tom Brady's bent over and the ref is behind him with one hand on his hip and like one hand on the side of his back, just kind of standing there while Tom Brady's like bent over picking his like it wasn't for stability. I can't figure out what he was doing. Like there were other players around, but he's just like
you want me to show you?
The side of the buttocks, standing right. It looked like he was about to like stand behind him and start like doing like a joke, right? Like going.
Can you imagine if he did?
Like I was waiting for it. I was sitting there like he's about to start humping Tom Brady or something.
Oh my God!
It doesn't happen. They just pan away.
Twitter would explode if a ref stood behind Tom Brady and air humped him. Can you imagine?
I'm going to send you guys this video just
send us
so
the video,
you can
please.
see what I saw.
We need to see
Tweet
it.
it.
We need to see it.
Tweet it out there.
Tommy said wanted his autograph.
That's a way to get it.
When I want an autograph, I always go up and plant my hand firmly on the side of the buttocks of an athlete while they're bent over. That's the best way to get someone's autograph, especially while you're refereeing a game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When else are you going to get a chance?
Yeah. That play was funny because he slid and like three defenders kind of like went over him. And the way he gets up so quick, I just felt like I could feel all of his anger in that moment because he just stood up so fast and then was like, let me adjust my leg brace. I'm not really like he like immediately diffused it because he was afraid of confrontation. It felt like
he was mad that he didn't get hit by those guys because he was fishing for that penalty.
He's fishing for it, yeah. But he got up expecting to. He got up expecting to draw that flag.
But then also knowing that he didn't necessarily deserve it. Know what I mean? Like he didn't throw a full temper tantrum. It was just like disappointment that his entitlement to that flag didn't quite pan out.
He like started to, and then he kind of realized. He's like,
yeah,
"Oh,
you're right."
That's called checking your white privilege right there.
Oh.
I thought you were about to say that's called sportsmanship.
Well, good on you,
like
Tom.
The
good on you,
lowest
Tom, for doing
definition
that.
of sportsmanship.
Yeah, self-awareness.
He held it back.
It's important.
Tommy said, "How do you think I get all these cool prizes signed? Works for me." He just goes up, hand on the buttocks, says,
"Hand on the buttocks."
What do you say?
Dante Culpepper.
Albert in here saying, "Whoever wins between Falcons and Panthers takes over first place in the NFC South."
Ah, yeah, of course. Checks out.
The hot contested division of the NFC South.
Can you imagine
the Panthers?
Arthur Smith throws the ball 11 times this week and they win, and everyone's like, fire Arthur Smith in his first place team.
That's it. I feel like we get one of these every single year where there's like a coach who's just accidentally winning, but they should probably be fired.
Right. I mean, this year I feel like there's like 10.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's like half the league. Well, not coaches being fired, but I mean the Giants just keep winning by accident.
It feels like this year, like coaching is affecting what I want to happen way more than in past years. Like bad coaches, like Nathaniel Hackett, Arthur Smith. Like we're seeing it. I feel like there's other examples too. Where I'm sitting there like, what the hell are they doing? Like what's going on? Chicago, it's been weird.
Cliff Kingsbury
play calling as well. Cliff Kingsbury, yeah. There's another one for sure. We're just sitting there going like, what are you doing? Like this is a nightmare.
When did we turn on Cliff Kingsbury?
Yeah, some people were never on board. I love the idea for fantasy football, the air raid, just 4 wide receiver sets all the time. Huck it, chuck it, pigskin. But
pigskin.
I don't know. Him and Kyler don't seem to be getting along. That's the difference, right?
Yeah, maybe it's just the quarterback thing. Is that what's spoiling it?
I think it might be.
Bad apple spoils the bunch, or so I've heard. So if there's just a little bit of rot in there, Cliff and quarterback don't get along, it's not going to work out. I wasn't calling Kyler Murray a bad apple. I was saying their relationship was the bad apple.
Too late.
I like Kyler.
I got you.
If they're going to get rid of one person, I want them to get rid of Cliff.
Hey, Call of Duty comes out today, right?
See you later.
It does
come out today.
Yeah.
Right? He said new Call of Duty, it's a bye week.
Yeah, I saw some Kyler Murray memes related to it on Twitter yesterday. Ross Bob in here asking, should I trade Kamara and T. Higgins for Saquon Barkley or Kamara for DeAndre Hopkins for
There's an and
that. Kamara and Hopkins for Coop and Robinson. Sorry. Can't read words. What do you guys think about this one?
So I'm on board with trading Kamara if you're worried that he's going to get shut down, which I kind of am, but I don't know. It seems like a lot to give up, especially if you're one of the trades, you're getting a wide receiver back. If you're going to do that, I would need to know who your other wide receivers are that you can just basically give away Higgins, for like Kamara and Higgins for Saquon. That seems like quite a bit. No, what do you guys think?
Yeah,
that is a lot to give up.
I would need to know what the replacement is for Higgins. Like, I'm assuming Higgins is in your starting lineup. His role's about to blow up, right? Like Jamar Chase out for 4 to 6 weeks. But Saquon's so good. Yeah, I need to know, like, are you plugging in an Amon-Ra St. Brown that you had injured on your bench and now he's back? Or are you plugging in MVS into that spot? Because if it's MVS, then I'm keeping Kamara and Higgins. The Kamara and Hopkins one for Kupp and Robinson. No, I'm not doing that one. No, I'd consider Kamara and Higgins for Saquon, but I do think it's a bit rich. What about you, JL?
Yeah, Kamara Higgins for Saquon is a little bit too much, and Hopkins for Kupp and Robinson, I would do. Oh, Kamara and Hopkins for Kupp and Robinson. I think I'd rather just stay with Kamara and Hopkins.
Yep.
Both sides, both accounts.
Yeah, Hopkins is good, man. 14 targets, bro. He's averaging 14 targets a game.
Damn, which a lot.
Which is correct. It's kind of crazy that like last year Cooper, like I said that kind of as a joke because he's only played one game, but last year Cooper Kupp kind of did average like 14 targets a game.
Yeah, he got
for the entire season. Hopkins.
Ross Bob letting us know that Terry McLaurin is the other wide receiver who would be starting. So DeAndre Hopkins and Terry McLaurin.
Stick with it. We like Terry with Heineke a lot.
Yeah.
So that makes you fine with the Kamara and Higgins for Saquon trade if Terry is coming in instead of Higgins? Or no?
I mean, but dude, there's bye weeks and stuff. You're gonna have to have more wide receivers than that. I would rather just stick with the depth and Kamara and just hope he doesn't get suspended. Hope they don't suspend him this year. I mean, it's all speculation that this idea that maybe they just let the court case hit so he gets suspended. It's still just speculation. It's possible. I'm not a lawyer, but Drew Davenport is, and he says it's possible.
Makes sense. Tommy here said, yo, did you see how the Wire in the Monday Night Football game threw off Mac Jones' pass that was intercepted? And I didn't know what he was talking about.
It's a good show. I don't blame Mac Jones.
Good one, JL.
Baltimore once again.
It's a Wire joke.
Nothing messes New England up like Baltimore, whether it be those teams with Ray Rice and Flacco, or now the Wire,
or just the HBO series, The Wire.
Hey, Mac Jones' ball hit the wire, and Mac Jones goes, "Shit."
We'll put that DVD box set up there. He walks into the locker room whistling like Omar.
Like Omar's coming.
Omar's coming.
I gotta watch that.
Simon,
again.
you get that right?
Yeah, this is fun.
You've never seen The Wire, dude?
For The Wire, are you shocked?
No, I'm not shocked.
Come on, Coop. That's on you if you're shocked.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. You got to watch it, and the classic advice to anyone that hasn't seen The Wire: you just got to power through season 2. It's a good season. It's not as good as the rest of them, but you got to make it through so that you understand what's going on, and then you get to enjoy the last 3 seasons. So
okay, I'll watch that. You guys watch the Beyblade anime in its entirety in return. And honestly, it's weird. Same advice. You got to get through season 2. It's a great show. People love Beyblade, but Beyblade season 2 just doesn't have the same let it rip action that the other seasons have. It's a little bit more subdued.
One more time.
You gotta watch.
Let it rip.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch Nacho Libre 100 times. It's gonna be tough to get through the first 65 times, but I'll tell you,
after that, you'll be numb.
35 are rewarding.
The last time I touched a Beyblade, I had to do an emergency stream from a random man's house in Houston. It was my girlfriend's brother's friend, and the power went out at my girlfriend's brother's house. So he's like, okay, my friend's going to let you come over. And we go over there. I finished the stream in their guest bedroom, and I come downstairs and immediately am greeted by a 7-year-old child that I've never met with 2 Beyblades in his hand. He's like, want to play Beyblades with me?
What the
And I
hell's
was
a
like,
Beyblade?
absolutely, I want what?
What?
How would I know what a Beyblade is?
You didn't have Beyblade? How old are you, Coop?
I think I might be 100. Or
Yo,
maybe
Beyblades were like the hot toy. It was like
Am I
like
too
battle
old?
tops basically with launchers.
You like
They were-
rip them and then they go in the little arena and like bounce off each other. Super fun.
I think I'm vaguely familiar with these.
It's like 2nd grade.
Yeah,
First time in
I
there.
had so many Beyblades. So many Beyblades
Was that
growing
second?
up.
Because it was like post Pokemon era.
Tommy says we're too old. I'm 33, so probably too old for these.
I thought you still could have hit the Beyblade era.
Could've
I
hit
might
the
have missed
Beyblade
it, dude.
era.
I might have just been too cool.
Oh, you mean not cool enough? Sorry, I think
You might have been
misspoke.
like more like a middle school, but I feel like
I was-
Beyblade still should have been a thing.
See, I see these here. I was playing with these this other toy. It's like
It's called Fire and Wood.
it's called
What I was playing with.
It's called
called a-
taxes.
it's called a baseball bat. Yeah, it's called responsibility. I do recognize
that's like Corey saying I don't watch Saturday cartoons. I've been based in reality since I was a child. That's you and Corey. While Jalen and I were playing Beyblades, you were over there just discussing
Ripping steaks
world
outside
that-
the Denny. The Denny's.
discussing politics. Yeah, I love how in that clip Nando calls him out immediately. He's like, "Yeah, you were fishing where?" Because he grew up in like like the Bronx. He's like, I was fishing in the Hudson. That's what Corey says.
We got a question in here from Jay. Jay wanted to know, is Sutton or Deontay droppable for Pickens or Wandale? So Cortland Sutton or Deontay Johnson droppable for George Pickens or Wandale Robinson? Coop, you dropping either of those guys for either of those other guys?
Sutton has been too good. I don't care if the team's losing. Sutton has been good with Russell Wilson. So as long as Russell's there, I like Sutton. And I can't drop Deontay for Pickens because Deontay plays more snaps and gets more targets. Like it's just like can't do it.
Yeah.
Not these guys. I like Wandale as a pickup, but you got better wide receivers on your team, so you probably shouldn't drop them for Wandale Robinson.
You've got a bit of a with this situation, Jay. You've got a bit of a DJ Khaled situation going on here where your team's too good. You're suffering from success, so you're just gonna have to stick with your
the best.
your better players. Your players are too good.
I was addicted to DJ Khaled's Snapchat for like a month. Like there was just something so intoxicating about it being he had the same day every day of his life. Like every day of his life, it was the same routine. Like he would wake up, we the best. Then he would go into his kitchen and have his breakfast made, like beautiful chicken sausage. And then he's like, now we're going on the jet skis. And then he's out there just partying on a jet ski. Then he's like, now we're watering my plants. And then he waters his plants, getting a fresh cut. Lunch is ready, right? And then like the entire day is just like he knows what he likes to do. He's doing it. And I was enthralled. I like couldn't keep my eyes off. It wasn't anything like wildly exciting. It was just
do that. You should do that, Simon. You should just do that throughout the day. Just put it out on the BSN Twitter. It's just this is me pouring Sancho's dog food.
it would be a lot less enthralling, and it wouldn't be nearly as charming.
This is
as
me
another
walking
DJ
around my
Khaled.
neighborhood
This is me on the toilet again.
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 Weren't you gonna do toilet takes?
I was going to do toilet takes at one point. I spend so much time there, and that's where I do a lot of my fantasy analysis. Was going to start recording some toilet
Start
takes.
doing some shorts on the toilet.
Yeah, while I do longs on the toilet because it takes
Exactly.
me a little bit out there. Record a short while I'm doing a long.
I bet people
Or
would.
shirt on,
I bet
doing
people would
along.
really like that.
You think
I
so?
bet they would too.
What angle? What angle? I was thinking a top down angle is how I
Yeah.
was going to record it.
An over the shoulder.
Assignment. That's assignment special.
That is assignment special. JL's gotten quite a few shots like that.
With a little,
I
love
a little bit of the peach in there. just a bit.
Just a bit.
Craig in here, we're talking toys, and he says Skip It is where it was at. Yo, I used to have a Skip It, and it was like a personal challenge because it had the little like manual, like the analog Skip It tracker on it, right? Where every time it hit the ground, it would count it one further, like an old school odometer in a car.
Oh,
And
yeah.
getting it to go back to the 000s was like the best feeling ever. It was like you felt like a badass. You're like, I just skipped it 1,000 times. I am
Never
the king
played
of the
Skip It.
Skip It. You never played Skip It?
Skip it. It sounds like Bop It
No,
though.
you're thinking of Bop It, yeah. Bop It. No, that's a game, dude. No, that's a man's
That's-
game.
That game is a bit sexual now that I look back on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of yanking and twisting.
Yank it, twist it, pull it.
My girlfriend. Stop it.
Stop
Twist it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I used to hate that thing because it was so annoying. And the game I had the most of was that Simon memory game, because every gift giving holiday, someone who didn't know me well would be like, you know what? I bet I'm the first person to ever think I should give him one of these. And then I just add it to my collection of 30 plus Simon memory games sitting in my closet.
This is like a TV show skit.
It is. It truly
like a Fairly Odd Parents
Oh,
episode.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Chuck it in the closet.
Open
There's
up
a
your
graveyard of Simon games that just pour out.
They think they're so smart. They're like, hey, it's named after you.
Get it? Same
Get
thing.
It. And you're like
all the people making the Isaiah Likely jokes right now.
Right. Exactly. They're geniuses, all of them.
Does anyone
wow,
know,
no one ever thought of that one before.
Does anyone know what Tommy's talking about with Zim Zam?
Nah, dude.
No, not a damn clue.
Did I just cuss? I hope
maybe
I didn't
said something
offensive. Tommy, I hope you didn't just Ron Burgundy.
I'm looking at Skip It.
What the heck is Zim Zam? It looks like tetherball with paddles.
Y'all played some weird games.
Do you paddle the ball or do you paddle each other? Like, are the paddles for hitting each other to prevent you from getting the tetherball?
Depends if you play with your little brother or not.
Man, I love tetherball. That's an underrated game. I want to get a tetherball in my yard.
Yo, let's play some tetherball.
Let's do it. Do you know a tetherball court?
Yeah, I think.
Also, Craig in here, I didn't see the rest of the comment, but he said, I think the balls popped out of his mouth. But either way, Joe, what do you think about that?
Either way, yeah, I'm with Craig.
No, I don't think I've played
balls
that.
in, balls out.
Don't think I've played that one. Are you talking about Hungry Hungry Hippos? That's Hungry Hungry Hippos is my default game I go to when I say like one guy's playing 3D future chess, the other one's playing Hungry Hungry Hippos, because that's the most mindless game possible. We're just smashing.
I'm staring at Skip It, man, and this honestly looks like the laziest invention I've ever seen. It's just like two golf wiffle balls attached by string.
Wait, no, that is not. You were looking at the wrong thing, I think.
It's called Skip It.
No, like one thing goes around your ankle and the other's a ball. You just spin around and jump.
Oh, that's like the shitty PE version. Know what I mean? Like what you're looking at is like you're in PE and they pull out the scooters, but it's just a flat board with wheels on it that you sit on. And run. Like that's a Skip It in the same way a flat board with wheels is a scooter.
I see. It's the thing you put around your ankle and you spin it around.
Exactly. And the end has a mechanism in it to keep track of how many Skip Its you've done. Like,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
No, that's some fancy bougie one, dude. Like
a
Skip It is just a ball that you put around your ankle that, you know, they made $1 billion off selling to kids.
They had light up ones. They had ones that made noises. you could get all sorts of upgrades on your Skip It. Your Skip It was a status symbol growing up.
I love that's what they did. Is they just took popular toys and just upgraded them. Like the Vortex, they would just add like lights or like that whistle that would destroy your hands when you caught it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Vortex but they were like, oh, this one whistles.
I know exactly what you're talking
about.
And
they add like a piece of plastic to the outside that like
it was like yellow. It was like yellow with like a blue little plastic thing on the side, and it would just whistle when you threw it.
Yeah, and it would just take chunks of your skin off when you caught it. And you're like, oh, this one but it whistles.
Dude, but that thing flew. That thing definitely flew.
I've got memories as a kid. I swear to God, throwing a football further than anyone's ever thrown it with those Nerf vortexes. That thing, I think the whistle made it go further without a doubt.
Definitely did.
No question.
Maria said, my skipper definitely did not count how many jumps.
Nah, dude.
There you go.
Yeah, that's some fancy boy stuff.
Skipper.
It was like, it wasn't a digital counter. It was an analog counter where like it just had a thing that spun and moved it up like an odometer on it every time.
Don't try and make yourself seem less bougie now. We all know.
We all know you got this.
I had the bougie Skip It.
Fancy Skip It, boy.
But you know what I didn't have? All the other kids got the Razor scooter, and I got a scooter with like inflatable tires, like bike tires on it, which looking back, it was badass. It was like an off-road scooter. Mm-hmm. But at the time, I was so focused on all my friends had Razor scooters that I wasn't as impressed.
Yeah, but dude, your shins, thank you, dude, because the Razor scooter was the great destroyer of shins.
I will never forget going down there's a road in my neighborhood. It's near my friend Frankie's house, and I'm on my Razor scooter, and I've gone down this thing like 100 times, but I'm going down it, and I start getting the wobbles. Completely eat it. and just full cover, hands, knees, just straight. And I just got to walk home crying, bleeding on my Razor scooter.
Yeah, dude. Those are not made for high speeds, bro. Those are not made for high
have
speeds.
a Razor scooter or a Walmart skateboard, and they'll be like, I got to find the biggest hill in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
like they look around and they're like, I'm
immediately.
going to get to the top. I've got no practice doing this, and with 100% confidence, zero fear of the consequences, I'm just going to go straight. Like we used to, like, there was like a driveway that led into a hill that crossed 4 streets, and we'd be like, we're going to stand at the top of the driveway. We've duct taped some boxes to a skateboard. We're going to sit 3 people in here. And then the end is just when we hit the nature trail and the gravel stops us. Like when the gravel launches us out of the box.
No one ever thinks about the end.
No one ever. And I would like, my friends are always like they would be able to do it, right? They do all these things, and I'd be like, yeah, no, I could totally do that. And then I would try and do it, and it just immediately wrecked.
You were like, you were the Eugene of the crew.
I was the Eugene of the crew. I remember another time I was riding a bike down. I never was able to use those like ramps. You know, those like kids had those like plastic ramps.
Yeah,
just put it on the ground. I'd never be able to like use them without them sliding out from under me. You gotta like hit them super fast.
Yeah.
And so my friends are like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. Just ride the bike down the cul-de-sac and hop off. You know, you'll be good. So I do it. I don't think to pull up on the handlebars when I go off the ramp, and so I just face plant.
Oh.
Oops.
I just face plant and never use those ramps again.
I've done something a lot like that. I was on a skateboard flying down the hill into the cul-de-sac, and I'm like, oh, I'll just go up my neighbor's driveway to help me slow down, and then I'll be good. 2-inch lip on that driveway. I don't lift the front wheels at all. Boom, face plant, broken arm.
They never include that when they're like, yeah, no, it's totally easy, man. You just go for it.
Yeah, just go for it. You're totally fine. It'll work out.
Joey, right? I had a scooter made of razors, cut my feet to hell.
Joey was an edgelord from the time he was 6 years old. He's like, this scooter causes me nothing but pain, but I ride it anyways.
I ride
in the dark on my Razor scooter. All are afraid of me. Guys, coming up, we're going to do some previews of these games coming up this weekend. We're going to play some hypothetically, and we've got our friend Vinny Iyer coming on to play Fantasy Detectives with us as well. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla.
That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Bettor Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry, okay? Talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach. Makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with
It's
us.
one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory like about their family or something,
Right.
yeah, that can incite you. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You
Right.
got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
It's interpretation, and that's my
Right.
problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. If you missed the beginning of the show, we talked some big news that went down. Jamar Chase likely headed to the IR. Kadarius Toney traded to the Chiefs. The Chiefs acquiring wide receiver Kadarius Toney from the Giants. And guys, if this is your first time here hanging with us, we just want to welcome you in. We're glad to be spending this morning with you. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. We are FYF. If you're enjoying hanging out with us, if you're enjoying the football talk, the nonsense talk, you're going to want to make sure you head on over to our YouTube and subscribe to Front Yard Fantasy. There's plenty more of this over there. And you can catch whatever you missed too. Dale, we have a question in here from Mark. It just screamed your name, probably because it started with, I'm 3-4 with 2 holes in my lineup because of Brees and Jamar. Do I sell Jamar? If so, who do I target? So I'll read that again. I'm 3-4 with 2 holes in my lineup because of Brees and Jamar. Do I sell Jamar? If so, who do I target?
I can't pay attention to the question because I'm so focused on your delivery every time.
Sorry. I can do it more normal. I'm 3-4 with 2 holes in my lineup because of Brees and Jamar. Do I sell Jamar? If so, who do I target? Did you guys get it that time, or do you need me to read it again?
If you 3-4 is fine, you're fine. You're not 0-7. You're not 1-6. I don't know if that math adds up, but I think it does. You can sell Jamar if you really feel like you need to. He's gonna miss at minimum 4 weeks. I don't know what you're gonna get for him. You're probably not gonna get the greatest value because you're at the start of the 4 weeks. So you can, but it's really going to depend on who you're able to get. And then he's asking, if so, who do I target? Who would you guys be willing to give up if someone offered you a Jamar Chase trade right now?
Well, I mean, the problem here is like you have to go to the 7-0, the 6-1, the 5-2 team. Like you have to go to a team that's already in a position where they can take on a player that's going to be injured for 4 to 6 weeks. And then if you're giving them Jamar Chase, who's going to be back for the fantasy playoffs, like that's a scary proposition. But I understand what you're saying, Mark. Like Brees Hall and Jamar Chase, that's 2 of your earlier round picks, right? Like you're in a tough spot. Like maybe you're 3-4. That's not a death sentence, but 3-4 without 2 of your top 4 picks, like that's pretty rough to come back from unless you hit on some guys late. Man, I'm not sure I could make the trade. I'm not sure I could make the trade, but if you are, like, I don't know. What's his value? Is his value like similar to Tyler Boyd's rest of season value since Boyd's going to be playing, but Chase is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks? Like,
and I hate it. And I'm just holding. After you say Tyler Boyd, I'm like, no, there's not a chance. I would just hold. Go play the waiver wire. There's options there, hopefully.
If he is out 6 weeks, that literally brings you right to fantasy playoffs.
Yeah,
you would be back for the last 4 games, and those games are against the Buccaneers, the Patriots and Jack Jones, and then the Bills and Trey White. So if you can get, I honestly think that if you can get anything close to, like if you can trade him for a guy that's going to be in your lineup for the rest of the season, I might do it. Just because.
Let's play the name game. Ayuk or Chase?
I don't want to play anymore now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because, Ayuk isn't locked in the sense that they have Debo, they have Kittle, and now they have McCaffrey. Like I'd want something a little more.
So speaking of locked in, what about Tyler Lockett?
Locked in.
Wait, Simon, you're not getting around Ayuk. What did you take Ayuk?
Yeah.
I think, well, Tyler Lockett's an interesting one to bring up.
You should have started. You should have started either higher. You should have started either higher or lower, JL.
I'm not
you don't,
taking.
You don't
Ayuk,
start
no.
with. You don't start with like
No.
the hardest possible one.
Right in the center. Right
No,
in the middle.
I'll take Jamar Chase.
All
Throw
right,
him on
Tyler
my
Lockett. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Lockett is a yes. I think Lockett is a yes.
I think
I
I would
will
too.
plug Lockett in, week out, and I'll leave him in my lineup.
Mm-hmm.
What about Deontay Johnson?
No.
What about
No.
Wan'Dale Robinson?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
You got to go up.
No.
You got to go upward from here.
All right. Well, I'm trying to help out Mark
not-
here.
you're not
that he
helping.
knows what the level is. I think I
Amari
am because he
Coo-
could have
Amari
gone and went for
Cooper?
Ayuk.
I have Ayuk ranked ahead of all those guys. You have Wan'Dale Robinson ranked ahead of Brandon Ayuk.
No, I'm just going all around that area. Amari
What about-
Cooper would be. I would go Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I would go Amari Cooper as well. I'm assuming he wants a wide receiver. I guess he's got two spots because of Brees and Jamar, so maybe it's a flex spot he could be filling. But
Keenan Allen.
He's
yeah,
back.
that's a name you could go for. And you might be a day or two too late on Chris Godwin. I think people are smarting up to the fact that Chris Godwin's maybe worth a little bit more than people were valuing him for recently. Also, Mark letting us know I got Brees for free, traded Jeff Wilson for him. That's a money move, my man. I'm
Nice.
guessing early in the season he made that move.
Right.
That's how you play though, because week 2, week 3, I was going nuts with how many people were just overreacting immediately to just 2 games, and that's how you play that. Go get Brees for Jeff Wilson. My God,
And now Jeff Wilson's more valuable than Brees.
true.
He is.
Unfortunately,
Today on Better
Just
Sports
barely.
Network, we are giving away another cool prize. Listen to Moose and Keith today at 11 a.m. Eastern for your chance to win a Lendale White signed Tennessee Titans jersey. To be eligible, you just need to download the free Better Sports Network app, register, and listen today live at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. This is courtesy of GetInTheGame.com and Better Sports Network. No purchase necessary. You got to be 18 years old, and if you won in the last 90 days, you are not eligible. But today at 11 a.m., giving away a Lendale White signed Tennessee Titans jersey. Man, they're giving away all the cool stuff.
Did you
over there.
guys, speaking of giveaways, did you guys hear what Lendale White said the other day?
No.
Dude, Lendale White was doing like an interview. I forget where he did it, but it might have been with the Barstool guys. Oh yeah, he goes, when I got to USC, I showed up in my apartment and it was funny. There was a bag with $150,000 there, just all in rubber bands. He's like, whoever was in my apartment before must have just left it there. Some people are just lucky like that. Like, that's what he was saying.
some people are just lucky like that.
Yeah, that man, when I find a 5 in my pocket, I'm like, this is the best day of my life. Like it can literally, like $5 in your pocket can turn a sour day into like, man, I am just walking on cloud nine. Can you imagine finding $150,000?
And that,
No, I can't imagine that.
Some tells me he
I
didn't-
wouldn't even know what to do with it. I wouldn't even be happy
No,
because I'd just
I
be like,
know
how
it
do
was
I
a-
get this past my taxes?
let's put it this way. If he went to Notre Dame instead of USC, he wouldn't have found that money.
Right. I mean, I'm not sitting here thinking I've got the same chance of walking into a new apartment and finding $150,000 sitting there. Probably not going to happen. I think I'd be so anxious if I found $150,000. Like I wouldn't even celebrate. I think it would just like put me into a panic immediately. Like, oh God, somebody's going to be looking for this. Like now they're going to come try to find me. Like, where do I put it? I don't want to give it to the police. Like it would just be immediate panic.
Yeah, but then you look at it, it's got a little tag that says on it, for Lendale, go Trojans, right? So then that probably settles it a little bit. Though I will say, if I'm Lendale White, I actually don't say anything about that because what happens when the IRS comes and they're like, "Oh, we heard you got a little gift."
Yeah.
You can just say I
They're
was
gonna take his money.
it
We
was
heard
just
you got a little
storytelling.
gift. We want a little piece of that. Yeah, it was just a story.
It's an expression. It means you really like the apartment.
It was fiction. Yeah.
It was just
fiction.
the common expression. Man, I walked in and found $150,000.
Right. It's just a prank,
just-
bro.
Just a prank,
It's
bro.
just a prank, man. Don't get too serious. Tommy said, "Call me Simon." All right, Simon.
Right?
What's up, Simon? It's a little
What's
weird
up,
for me.
Simon?
I prefer not to call other people by my name. Some people like
Call me by
I
your
feel like
name.
some people are used to sharing their name, like because that's a normal thing to do. Lots of people have the same name. anytime I've met another Simon, I've like had like a visceral reaction, which is selfish and rude. But I'm so used to being the only
Screw
Simon
you,
that when
man.
there's another one, I'm like, no, that's my name, bitch. Like that's for me. Like
Get
I
outta
just
here.
I want to tell them to go by something else.
I think about
That'll
it. I do think about it. Like anytime someone brings up Mark Andrews, I'm like, Andrew. Like my brain just says that. Like people are like Amari Cooper. I'm like, oh, Cooper. And then I just like go back to what I was doing. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people have that feeling where it's like you have a special bond with people that have names adjacent to your own. Do you know a lot of JLs, JL?
I don't know a single other JL. I have met the occasional John Luke. But it's less than 5 in my entire life.
I've never met another John Luke. I've met Johns, I've met Lukes, but I don't know any other John Lukes. I know some Jean Lucases.
A lot of people like to tell me about. There's one of the kids on that show, Duck Dynasty. His name is John Luke. A lot of people told me that in high school.
And what's your typical response to that?
Nah.
Right. The way you told that story
is that your
already told me
that
the second one was actually really nice. But the way you told that story told me that you're over it. A lot of people like to tell me they seem to like it.
Yeah, if you know anything about me, that type of show is not my style. So
the level of popularity that Duck Dynasty reached is absurd. Like I think all of us undersell the cultural impact of Duck Dynasty. Like I like to pretend it doesn't exist, but like that was like the biggest show on television for years. Like those guys were like true celebrities there, just making duck calls in their camo overalls with their long ass beards. Just truly wild the level of success that reached.
I don't think I ever saw an episode of that show, but I was very much aware of it. Like the Kardashians. I never saw an episode, but like against my will, I know quite a bit about it.
You should watch an episode or two. Like whether you like the show or the premise, the idea of it or not, like good television's good television, and it is well-produced television.
Duck Dynasty is?
No, the Kardashians. Keeping up with the Kardashians is quality TV.
I see it out of the corner of my eye every once in a while.
It's one of those shows where you're like, I'm not watching this garbage. And then you don't change the channel and you just like keep kicking over. like your girlfriend's watching it and like you're like, oh fine, I'll just like work on my computer, and you keep it like, okay, so how do they know him? Like
they're
what's their relation?
Croatian jacuzzi lake? Okay.
You just keep asking questions.
Oh,
Albert had a question. Oh, go ahead, Coop.
Oh, I was gonna say there is a show like that my wife is watching now. Now I can't think of the name of the show, but it's like they put all these people in this hotel or house or whatever, and they don't interact directly with each other, but they do online. But some people the circle. I watch The Circle. I'll be like looking at my iPad, but I'm like secretly watching every part of it. It's something about it. It's enthralling. Do you guys watch that show?
I watched like the first couple episodes because my buddy, a good buddy of mine who used to live with us, kept telling me to watch it. And then I watched like the first season or whatever. And there's a guy from Baltimore in there who was like the best. He was awesome. Everyone else sucked, but that guy from Baltimore was sweet.
Who was it?
I can't remember his name now.
Was it Shoebox? I think that was his name. He was like the sweetest guy. He was just so friendly.
This guy was like super high energy, just super positive to everybody.
I think my favorite one ever was the kid that went in with his mom. Did you see? Have you guys seen that
one?
Yeah,
that's the one I'm talking about. It's the same thing. You're talking about he's the comedian from New York, and he brings his mom in.
Like they're a duo.
Or he's pretending to be his mom.
Oh no, there's one where mom and son are in there together pretending to be someone. Like they're playing the role together. That one's my favorite. But it's a good show. It's a good show. It'll suck you in.
I liked the one season that I saw a good chunk of. Like there was a chick there pretending to be Lance Bass.
I saw that one as well. For those of you that don't know, it's like a Big Brother style show where they're voting people off and like doing different games and all this stuff. But instead of being in the same room, it's like a social media Big Brother where they're all in like a hotel room, and some of them are catfishing others and some of them are being themselves. It's pretty great.
So weird. Yeah. But anyway,
Albert had a question in here for us. He wanted to know, would you guys start Mostert or Stevenson full PPR? Coop, Mostert or Stevenson this week? Who are you plugging into your lineup?
That's close enough that I got to see who's playing who. Actually, I'm starting Mostert against the Lions. I know that's who the Dolphins are playing. So that's who I'm starting.
And Joey yesterday on our fantasy football office hour told us that for him, Mostert's a top 12 running back this week.
Yeah.
So like he is in on Mostert starting him. Dale, are you going Mostert or are you going Stevenson?
Mostert is, I think, the safer play against Detroit. I'm gonna go Stevenson though, because I think the upside is there, and I think this Miami Detroit game might end up turning into a high scoring game. In which case, Raheem Mostert might not be the most needed, and so I'm gonna hedge against the game script here and go Ramondre Stevenson.
Wow,
Raheem
least needed. JL says
Raheem
nice.
Leastert.
Mahim Leastert.
Raheem Leastert. Welcome to the squad. You join a squad of Milky, Trubilky, and Tasobi Chrisette.
Jacoby Sabret.
Jacoby Sabret. I'm going Raheem Mostert. Whether he's least needed or not, Raheem Leastert is going to get the start for me in this one as well. Lucius had another question for us. Said, morning, guys. Morning, Lucius.
Morning, Lucius.
Most of my questions always revolve around the tight end position, constantly an issue. That's true. Tight end is constantly an issue, unless you have Travis Kelce. And it looks like that's what he's asking about here. I have Kenneth Walker. Would you trade him straight up for Travis Kelce? Coop, are you trading Kenneth Walker straight up for Travis Kelce?
I think it's fair in terms of points, and you get a slight boost in positional scarcity. Just make sure you have running backs, because it's a double-edged sword, this game of trading running backs for a tight end, because you have to start 2 running backs minimum. So if you leave yourself too thin at that position, you could find yourself in big trouble quickly. I had to start Rashad White in a league this week because I lost Javonte Williams and Austin Eckler's on bye week. It can happen that quick. So make sure that if you're going to trade Kenneth Walker, you have at least 2 and ideally 3 other good running backs. If you do, then go for Kelce.
I see Tommy here say no, keep Kelce if you started tight end. I think he's asking to trade for Kelce with Kenneth Walker. Coop, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's more than fair value. Like you're not getting ripped off, but you got to have that person you can plug in.
Right.
Jail, what about you? Are you making this move?
No, I generally agree with you. Guys. I, in a vacuum, I'd rather have Kenneth Walker.
Right.
But I think it's fair and it's situational.
There have been so many times where I'm like, I'll just invent the tight end. And sometimes it works. Logan Thomas, Mark Andrews a couple years ago, but you can't always bank on that. And I've also had plenty of seasons where I just tried to stick with what I had and I never really found the tight end. And that's starting a mediocre tight end and quarterback all year is the recipe to come in third place.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Guys, Coop, before you head off to Europe, Jail and I wanted to make sure you were prepared. So we have prepared some travel tips for you, some things that you need to keep in mind while you're on your European vacation, things you need to remember, just to keep you safe and having a great time while you're exploring countries with maybe some different cultures and practices and etiquette than we have here. So,
European travel guys,
me and JL giving you all the tips you need. And we're definitely experts.
We need some like what's that music that plays in like How I Met Your Mother whenever he does like a play from the playbook? It's like da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Yeah, we need that. We need that while we're
okay. I'll sing it while you're doing yours, Jay. I'll do it in the background.
Where's the travel guys intro?
Yeah, Keith, come on.
Keith, Earn Dog.
Hey, all right, Coop. Here's your first travel tip. Your first European travel tip. Don't say Fanny.
Ooh,
you don't want to say Fanny. You will get beat up.
Fanny. No Fanny.
Don't say Fanny. Write it down.
I learned that one.
Why can't I say Fanny?
They don't like it. They don't like it. I think it means gooch there.
Yeah, in the US, a fanny might be a butt, but in London town, it's a vagina. It is the front. It is the front butt in London town. Is what you're talking about there.
I'm drawing arrows so that I know Fanny in the front.
Yes, Fanny in the front. So be extra careful with that one.
Here said, "How am I not doing travel tips? This is an affront." And
get up here, Scott. Call in.
Great segue, because since we came up with the segment way too late notice to ask you, I just included you in my tips for my second tip.
Call in now.
Bring Scott Fish. Bring Scott Fish. That's your second European travel tip, Coop.
Scott Fish.
You can hide him in your bag.
Do you think I could put him into? He's a pretty big guy. I'm not sure if I get him into my carry-on
duffel.
I'm gonna have to check him. I like how you said Fanny's in the front, and Scott popped right in and said in the front.
This is
So,
enough. This is
the Fanny's in the front.
Oop,
So Scott
this next one.
Packs. I love
Very
how you guys on the show sheet told me not to open these so that I wouldn't know what you guys were talking about until now, and I still kind of
better not have opened them.
Now
Will
that
you be in will you be in Germany at all during your trip?
No, I won't be.
Okay, well, if you're near Germans, you need to remember this, okay? If you're eating a salad near Germans, this is very important. And this is 100% true.
100%.
Don't cut this applies in France as well, okay? So if you're going to be in France, this also applies. Do not cut your lettuce. Fold your lettuce. No matter how big the piece of lettuce is, you do not cut it. You
just got to full
it.
mouth it.
It is rude to cut your lettuce at the table in your salad in Germany or France. You will be looked down upon as a stupid, boorish American. But if you fold it and shove the whole thing in your mouth, then you're good to go.
With my hands, I fold it?
Yeah, like a bed sheet. Yeah. Honestly, the tips I saw were not very clear on how you fold it. So I have to assume you fold it like a bed sheet.
Right? I would just like the picture, like if I did actually go to cut it, like the woman at the table next to me would be like, oh, just like, how dare
as she's sitting there like fanning her lettuce out and like folding it neatly,
holding it like a Target t-shirt.
I'm gonna say something. She's like, I have to say something to them.
Yeah, I just can't stand for this. The next tip for you, Coop: assume everyone knows English.
Smart.
Everyone in Europe knows English because English is the best language. So make sure that you always assume everyone knows English and just speak it to them.
Now, if I find someone that doesn't know English, how upset should I get at them?
Very upset because they're messing with you.
Okay.
They know English.
They know it.
They know English. They're just trying to humiliate you.
I figured that was the case, and I don't like being embarrassed. So
I know you don't, and you shouldn't be embarrassed.
No,
so make sure.
If you want to make sure not to be embarrassed, while you're assuming everyone speaks English, you also have to make sure to talk incredibly loudly. There's this common stereotype that Americans never speak up and that it's difficult to hear them when they come across. And like, if they don't understand you, there's a chance you're just not talking loud enough. So when in public spaces, make sure you are screaming borderline, because you don't want people to think, oh, here's another quiet American walking around London.
Well, that should be pretty easy because like I'm an incredibly loud and oftentimes drunk American who does 19 hours of nonsensical screaming every week. So I'm sure it wakes up at the crack of dawn to start doing it. So I'm sure that when I go over there, I'm just going to be an absolute treat for all these quiet people that love to keep to themselves. I also one of my favorite, probably my most toxic trait is that like when I'm like drinking beers and stuff, I like to like touch people. Like I'm like strangers especially. I'm like,
yeah, you're very friendly.
Very friendly, dude. If we're all dancing, I'm like, I got a dance move I can do like with your hat. Like, you know, just like like
let me put on your pants.
Oh, I need your hat for this move. And then I just like drop it on the ground and go get a beer. Like that. I've been guilty of that move. So yeah, dude, very pleasant. And I'm sure the private and quiet folks of Europe are going to enjoy my presence.
Of course. And producer Keith in here with a European travel guide tip for you. Wear an American flag t-shirt. Pickpockets are terrified of American tourists. Very true. That's a true fact, Coop.
Smart.
Honestly, wear as much American garb as you can. That is also a good tip.
I'm going to be rocking an American flag fanny pack, but you're saying I have to wear it on the front?
Yeah, and the shirt has to say guns, God, glory. If it doesn't say that, then it doesn't count.
That tone.
In that tone.
Guns,
the font is like the steel letters, you know what I mean? Where it's like word art, but it's like steel with like bolts in it. Like each letter has like 4 bolts in the different corners, and it says guns, God, glory.
Don't tread on me.
And then no one will mess with you. They won't steal anything from you.
Tommy said, "Ride in the tube is a whole different thing."
I'm gonna
scream Naheem Hines when in Germany to everyone you meet.
Yeah, good idea.
Naheem Hines. I'm gonna be in Germany. I'm gonna be rocking my back-to-back World War champs shirt.
Yeah, that'll go over well as well.
And just walk around in a back-to-back World War champs shirt and just say, "Hey, you're welcome."
Oh, God.
You're gonna get murdered. We're
let us
gonna
know
get
if you guys
killed before he comes.
Let us know if you guys have any more trouble over here. We'll send the boys over.
Oh my god.
Dear Lord, Coop.
You're gonna get killed if you say that.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe more offensive would be if you don't do what I'm gonna say next, Coop. When you're in Italy, every time they put a dish in front of you, you have to ask, is this gluten-free? Every single time. If you don't ask, is this gluten-free, they get offended. They want to tell you about the gluten in there. And the most polite way to ask is by saying, is this gluten-free? And then they get to explain to you just how much gluten is in it.
Just exactly. Yeah. After I order it, it's brought to me like a big plate of like fettuccine. I'll be like, this is gluten free, right? Because
Eat half of it and then
I'm
ask.
from America. Yeah. Eat it as my like face swells up, like this is gluten free.
Is this gluten free?
Luckily, I can eat gluten. I will make sure to mention to them how good the pizza is in New York City.
Yeah, that's another good one. That's another good one. Jolly Rancher has a question for us.
Oh, you guys have pizza here too?
Copycats.
Walk in and say, oh, an American restaurant. Jolly Rancher had a question for us. If you can't say fanny in London, what do you call a fanny pack? There's got to be, they got all sorts of different names, like a pouch. Like a cookie is a biscuit, a biscuit is a scone, and there is no such thing as scones there.
Butt pouch.
Bum
fanny
bag.
pack name in England. Let's see what they call it. They call it a bum bag.
Bum bag.
A bum bag.
Honestly, not that far
I
off.
love Scott with the wear a Coop touring third world countries shirt with a list of countries you're visiting. So a shirt that says third world countries, and then it'll say like, Iceland, Denmark.
Coop's third world countries.
And you slowly just piss off every single person that you meet along the trip. Yeah, I think Scott's right. It'll show them that you mean business. Coop,
everybody
Dale, you have any more travel tips for Coop?
Yeah, I got two more for you. A couple more for you. First one is any opportunity you have, make sure that you quote this famous line. Not me, not Hermione, you. Every single time.
Me,
Harry Potter, you gotta recite it.
You.
Not me.
Just walk around London going,
nailed it, Coop.
Nailed.
You are set.
Just walk around London going, well, if it isn't Harry Potter.
Every
person. Well, if it isn't Harry Potter. To every single dude I run into. Okay, I could do that.
Yep. And then the last tip I have for you, Coop, is every beach is a nude beach. Respond accordingly.
Weens out, bro.
Weens out.
Including like
practice.
Including all those like if I go to like one of like the warm geyser pools in like Iceland, those are straight nude as well.
Straight nude as well. Yep.
Yo, I am gonna be real. Sometimes the ween is a little different depending on what country you're in, like how comfortable they are with ween. I remember being a kid in the Netherlands with my dad, and we go to this store. It's like a Best Buy, like a very normal electronics store. Like we're there with him and his brother, and we're walking around, and there's like, the buckets of like clearance DVDs in Walmart. Like where like you walk up and it's like a big $5 sign. It's like one of those, and I'm like, I'm a kid, I'm just running around looking at stuff, and I reach my hand and pick it up, and it is hardcore pornography, just in like one of those clearance buckets in the middle of a Best Buy. Just different. They're a little more comfortable with the ween. There might be ween in a clearance bucket just in Best Buy in the Netherlands, but not here. So Coop, don't freak out if there's ween in Best Buy. That's my last tip for you.
It's a good tip. It's a good tip. It's a good tip. Don't be alarmed if you see some ween in Best Buy.
I think you guys already know what my reaction will be. It'll be Kate. I gotta show you something.
Fantasy Dog in the chat said good morning.
Morning, Fantasy Dog.
Welcome in, Fantasy Dog. I just dropped Eno Benjamin for Isaiah Pacheco. Coming off by maybe Pacheco season.
I mean, I like that move with James Conner coming back. It's Benjamin's value isn't that sticky. I'm not like holding on to him thinking he's gonna have value while Conner's healthy. And Pacheco seems to be getting more involved. I mean, worst case scenario, you have a startable back in Pacheco. Like he's getting enough work to be startable. Best case scenario, you see him take over, though I don't think that's likely. I'm a fan of this move, Fantasy Dog. Startable player with serious upside if something breaks his way.
I'm in. Agree.
Yeah,
agree.
Fully agree. And Kevin Tompkins in the FYF chat saying Coop is very handsy. Confirmed.
Right, dude. Look out now.
Hats.
Dude, why is Isaiah Pacheco? The one question I have is why is Isaiah Pacheco, if he's the starting running back, why is he still running back kickoffs for that team?
Because he's so cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for me in
He's so
draft with
cool.
Giants, where he's now. I have Devin Duvernay and Isaiah Pacheco in draft with Giants, where it's double points for return yards. They literally are worth 1 point for every 5 yards. So those dudes are like the best players in the league. But for regular fantasy, it kind of is weird that he's still returning kicks if he's the starting running back. Kind of makes me feel like he's not quite the starting running back.
Tommy,
Yeah.
saying, I'm still laughing at Harry Potter and B2B shirt.
Back to back. Poor
Back to
champ,
back shirt.
just walking around.
Dustin
When
said,
I-
when in Iceland, make sure to ask where all the ice is. That's a good one.
Excuse me. I
Same
came
thing for
here
Greenland.
For the ice. Yeah, you going to Greenland, Coop?
Why it's so
Ask where all
green
the
here?
green is.
Why the heck would I go to Greenland?
Sometimes I just zoom in on Greenland on the map and find cities and then read about them because I'm like, who the hell lives here? Like, I just want to know what's going on in this like tiny town, literally in the Arctic Circle, where 6 months of the year they don't see the sun, and yet there's 2,000 people that live here. Like, what are they doing? I just get like sucked into Google Maps rabbit holes.
I do that too. I find myself on the Svalbard Wikipedia page at least once a year. Svalbard.
What?
Svalbard, if you haven't checked it out, super
I have
cool.
no idea what you're saying.
It's this little like island place that's like up in like the Arctic Circle. And they do a bunch of experiments there and stuff, but they actually have this like crazy seed bank there too, like in case the world ends. Like they just
Okay, I know what you're talking. The
Yeah.
underground seed bank where they've got at least one of every plant that we know of seed, so that they can restart that process if there's like a nuclear holocaust or something along those lines. Like they have that just ready to go in a bunker.
Yeah, good try, JL. Everyone knows what they're talking about except you now.
I'm stupid.
You tried to make me feel dumb, but look at that. Yeah, it's way up there too.
me.
Yeah.
Not a mine.
No,
Guys,
come on,
coming up,
you.
We're gonna have our,
Yeah.
Is that
You,
the second one
Harry.
where they're like playing the game of chess?
First ones.
This is
Yeah.
the
when
first
they're
one?
playing chess.
Not me, not a
Not a
mine.
mine.
You, Abby.
Yeah.
you are listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Guys, coming up, we're going to be playing some fantasy detectives with our friend Vinny Iyer. And then coming up, we'll be talking a little bit more about these week 8 games and props that we like for them. And then we'll be setting a DFS core lineup a little bit later for us in today's show as well. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Bettor Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
Your wife did a good job.
yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Bettor Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we could probably get that figured
It's
out.
the least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have
That's what I love.
satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't,
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Gilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. For those of you just joining us, we've covered some news already. Jamar Chase likely heading to IR, going to be out the next 4 to 6 weeks is what we're hearing from Adam Schefter. Kadarius Toney traded to the Chiefs. And I just read, I missed this. Kadarius Toney is saying that he's healthy. He's good to go now. And there's reports that we might see him on the field in week 9. They're on bye this week, but we might see him. You guys buying that we might see Kadarius Toney out there as early as next week?
The best tweet,
I can see it.
The best tweet I saw on that one. Did you guys see I retweeted it, the Willy Wonka one?
No.
Where they were Willy Wonka comes out with the cane, and then all of a sudden in the movie, please some of you've seen Willy Wonka.
Yes, I've seen Willy Wonka on the
chocolate. He comes out with the cane, and then all of a sudden he just goes and it does a roll, and then he's fine, right? He does a little flip that was it.
That's Kadarius Toney.
Somebody posted that, and they were Kadarius Toney showing up to the Chiefs, and it's all of a sudden he's fine, right? And that's pretty much exactly what happened. They traded the moment they traded him, he was yeah, I'm good, I'm ready to play right now.
So truly, just sitting out, right? He's just mad at the coach. There's some sort of grind between him and Dable. It seems like.
Must be something in that New York water because Elijah Moore is doing the same thing right now.
Must be.
Sure.
Coop Keith was in here with one more travel tip for you. He said something you will notice that a lot of toilets in Europe don't have toilet seats. So be ready for that.
You just got to eyeball it, dude. You got to freewheel it.
Yo,
freewheel it.
When I was in Shanghai, I went to the train station and I go into the bathroom thinking I'm just going to take a normal poop, right? And then I walk in and all there are ceramic holes in the ground. And there was a moment of panic where I was I guess I know what I have to do. You squat. This is how you squat. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's in here squatting just over this hole. That's how it works. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it out. I was just sitting there squatting, pants down, thinking how do I do this? I'm standing. My legs are tired. These dudes got some leg muscles if they're squatting every time they poop. Man.
Did you cry?
No, not that time. I did cry laughing in a bathroom there one time. I was at the mall and they had a bathroom with toilet seats and I'm sitting down and on the stall in front of me, there's a sign telling people the little stick figure drawing saying don't walk on the wet water. Don't put your hand in the toaster. It's the safety drawings. Yeah. They had one of those, but it was a person standing on the toilet seat and squatting. And there was a big X through it saying, do not stand on these toilets. Because apparently they were having a problem with people not wanting to put their butt on the toilet, so they stand on it and squat over it while standing on the toilet seat. Enough so where they needed a sign.
They were dropping them from the top. They're dropping them from the top rope.
And it was because of all the Europeans that are so used to standing on top of the toilet. So Coop, remember When you're in Europe, stand on the toilet. When you're in Asia, don't stand on the toilet.
So for real in Asia, it was just a hole in the ground, and you just gotta like stealth bomber those things.
It was a nice hole, like it was ceramic. You know what I mean? Like it was a
Nothing
toilet.
stealth
They had
about
it in
it.
there, but
Ain't nothing stealth about it.
yeah, I had to squat over the hole.
Dude, flybys, dude.
Everyone within 1,000 feet knew what you was doing.
It's a conveyor belt. You just stand there squatting, and there's holes. You got to aim on your way by. Like the bathroom, you just get on the belt, drop your drawers
with your neighbor.
Sounds like a game that like Tommy played back when he was a kid. Just like that, like Zim Zam. We used to play Zim Zam and stealth bomber poops back when I was a kid.
Tommy said, "Sounds like no pooping for 3 weeks."
Yeah.
Just hold it in. Who comes back? He's just sick. He's just pale and sick.
Good luck.
Speaking of Willy Wonka, I look like the Veruca Salt. I just a big blueberry when I get back.
Also, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Scott Fish in here saying, "Why is Tyreek Hill doing kickoffs? Why did Tim Brown, Antonio Brown, and Randy Moss?" And then in parentheses said, "Moss was only a behind and need to make something happen, but sometimes you just need your best playmaker back there, like Devin Duvernay."
I think that's fair. Absolutely. Like if you need that juice, like they would do that with Antonio Brown. Like, the team's losing, throw him back there to return one kick. Julian Edelman, but it was mostly punts with him. But I mean, Isaiah Pacheco returned 5 kicks. I mean, he returned for 123 yards, which is nice. But like he is the kick returner, and if you're gonna have your guy, if he's gonna be the starter, like you're gonna have him run back the kick and then be gassed from running 30 yards and go right over to the huddle. I feel like it's more of a strategy thing than it is worried about getting the guy hurt. Like you're going to have the guy that's going to – usually it's one guy runs it and then the other guy plays the first play.
Maybe this is more telling about how they feel about how close all of the running backs on their roster are. You know what I mean? Like Pacheco's the starter, but they're so not concerned about that usage or about who's coming in place of him that like they're like, if he's the best at this, let's just use him there. Because we've got CEH, Jerick McKinnon, that we can plug in right here whenever he's gassed, right? Like maybe this is more of a Chiefs don't value their starting running back that highly because they've got other running backs that can be comparably productive in that offense. Like I think it's probably more along those lines. But I mean, I guess if he gets you a touchdown, I was kind of shocked yesterday on the broadcast when they said that Duvernay is the only player so far this season to return a kickoff or punt for a touchdown. Like, I just felt like we'd seen at least one more for some reason, but it's only Devin Duvernay who's done it so far this year.
That's wild.
That is interesting.
Yes, it is.
I hate the NFL in here. Good name. I said, why would Giants trade the guy to the Chiefs who was compared to Hill? So they create another one.
Dude,
I don't think we're getting another Tyreek Hill.
Doing that. Teams keep helping the Chiefs. Like, Jail, why did your Ravens – I know why you guys had to trade Orlando Brown. He wanted to play left tackle, and you have Ronnie Staley. But why trade him to the Chiefs? Why are people helping the Chiefs? Stop helping the Chiefs. Like, when they need a left tackle, don't trade them a left tackle. They should have traded Orlando Brown to Scott Fish's – like, don't give him to the Chiefs. That team's already
I'm going to
good.
go ahead and take a wild guess on this one, Coop, and say the Chiefs needed a left tackle, so they're probably willing to pay more for a left tackle than a team that doesn't need a left tackle. But I am just guessing here.
That's probably it, but just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let them have.
Don't do it. That's fair.
Don't do it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Look what you've done,
guys. Joining us right now on the show to play some fantasy detectives with us, we've got our good friend Vinny Iyer. He's an NFL and fantasy football writer over at the Sporting News and the host of Locked On Sports.
Yeah.
Vinny, thanks so much for joining us today, my man. Always a treat hanging out with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
So excited to play some detectives with you today.
Yeah, Vinny, today we brought you on. We wanted to play a game we call Fantasy Detectives with you. For those of you that do not know, Vinny is a game god. He is a Jeopardy champion, an honor that not many people have. So we love playing games with him. Vinny, Fantasy Detectives is a game where I'm going to give clues one by one. They're going to get progressively revealing more information about the player. You guys are going to take turns guessing who you think that player is. Get it right on the first clue, it's going to be worth more points than if you get it right on that last clue. Vinny, I'll let you go first in this first round. And how it's going to work is each round will switch who's going first. You will always have the first guess after each clue in this first round. Next, it'll be Coop and then JL, and we will go like that. Vinny, before we get into it, though, we were just talking Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs, and I did want to get your take on it. How are you viewing Kadarius Toney rest of the season?
Well, rest of the season, I'm not sure how healthy he is. I know that's been a bit of a point of contention between him and the Giants. So who knows? Like, is that knee/hamstring/attitude was hurt most here by Kadarius Toney? I'm not sure. So I think you just had to wait and see it play out. I think what we want to see is him just get back on the practice field at some point. So hopefully after the bye, or we hear some things about, okay, he's working out for the Chiefs. But what's happened is the Patrick Mahomes warning has come true. He said we're going to be a passing game by committee, and he wasn't joking. And it's worked well. They have more big plays this year than they had last year with Tyreek Hill, like downfield and stretching the field. So it's actually worked because no one has any idea who the go-to guy is that isn't Travis Kelce from week to week. So he's probably just going to be thrown in the mix. You'll probably see Sky Moore get some run. Maybe Justin Watson will start playing more. Who knows? So it's just very hard to trust in fantasy other than maybe Juju after 2 straight games.
Yeah, I'm in more agreement with you, Vinny. I'm not sure I'm too excited about Mr. Kadarius Toney over there, which is a shame because he is an exciting player. I would love to be excited. Guys, are you ready to get into our game of fantasy detectives?
Yep.
Okay. Here's your first clue, Vinny. I'm going to read this clue. It's a little bit of a long one. You've got the first guess at who you think this player is. Your first clue is this quarterback has 11 touchdowns on the season so far. Do you have a guess?
Is this passing or combined?
Passing touchdowns.
Passing. All right. I'm going to say it's Geno Smith just because it sounds like that would be a good answer. So I'm going Geno Smith.
It is not Geno Smith, but good guess. Coop, where are you going?
11 touchdowns. It's not through 7 games. It's not too many. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence.
It is not Trevor Lawrence, not the player we're looking for. JL, you got a guess?
11. Yeah, I'll go with I'll go with Josh Allen.
8. It is not Josh Allen. Damn. Guys, guess along in the chat. If you get it right, we'll shout you out after this round. But play along. Here's your next clue, Vinny. You're gonna have the first guess again. This player's dad was an MLB catcher. When his dad got his first hit, his teammates wrote the wrong date on the ball, crossed it out, and then wrote a 15-hopper through the hole against no throwing Big Daddy Ruschel. It turns out the ball with all the writing was a phony ball. They gave him his first hit untouched later. Who is this player whose father was that MLB catcher?
Is it me? Again?
Yes.
Okay. This one, now you gave it away. It's Jared Goff.
It is Jared Goff, Vinny.
Wow.
Jared Goff
I
is
knew
the
that.
correct
I knew
answer.
That's fact. So
that's
Coop
wild.
and JL, did you guys know that one? Did you know that fact? Jared Goff?
So I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. So that's pretty cool. Who did Goff's dad play for? Do you guys do you know?
I do not know. Do you know
I think
Vinny?
the Giants, maybe the Expos. I want to say too. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Wild.
I think he was a backup catcher. I don't think he was a starter.
And his name was Jerry Goff. What a name, Jerry
Goff. Why is that so funny?
Way better.
Jerry Goff. It's
Way
like
better
too
than
close
Jared.
to Jared Goff. It sounds like somebody's making fun of Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Good old Jerry.
Jerry Goff.
And keep coming in here saying Montreal Expos, Pittsburgh Pirates, and Houston Astros.
Okay,
Looks like he moved around a little bit on those 3 teams.
Wow.
Vinny, that is going to get you 2 points for properly getting that one after the second clue because there were 3 total clues for that prompt. Nice job. Coop, you're going to go first on this next one. Before we do that, though, I did want to talk a little bit about Mr. Jared Goff. This offense started out hot, right? Like it looked like one of the better scoring offenses attached to the worst defense in the league, which is something that you love to see for fantasy. But it's been a little bit rougher the past couple weeks. Vinny, talking about Mr. Jared Goff, do you think he is a fantasy relevant quarterback? Is this Lions offense going to have more games like the first 3 of the year, or are we going to see more of what we've seen recently?
I think it's tough because Amon-Ra St. Brown has been out. Then you've had Josh Reynolds being hurt. DJ Chark's not there. DeAndre Swift hasn't been healthy. TJ Hawkinson has been the constant, but he really gets keyed in on and taken out of games here when those other guys are not available. So it's tough. I mean, I think people realize that's what the Lions are going to do. They're going to throw to 3 guys essentially when healthy and try to get the offense going that way. And they're just saying, Jared Goff, the game script has also gone downhill. There's been no Jamal Williams. He's MIA here. Early in the season, he was like destroying things. But now I think people are like, okay, we're just going to blitz you, Jared Goff, and make you make mistakes, and that's it. That'll be the end of the day for the Lions, or just run on them like we saw with the Cowboys. Just keep running, pound away. They're not on the offensive side, they're very long on the field. So just pull away from this team, and then they can't do anything. It's too predictable, and then sometimes that can backfire, right? You want that high volume in the passing game when you're trailing, but then it could backfire, like Goff making mistakes or just not looking ineffective against a good team with a pass rush. And same thing with the Falcons in a different way. They just don't want to throw the ball when they're down big. So these negative game scripts can actually be a negative thing sometimes for our quarterbacks.
And Goff is like we know what he needs to do. He needs to push the ball downfield. He's always willing to take the low hanging fruit. Teams are willing to give it to them. And pretty much every team just sits back and lets him throw it underneath. And it worked for every team except for basically the Vikings last year. And I guess maybe the Cardinals, where they gave him a little too much underneath, but he's willing to just take that. We've seen him, spend all 2019, the end of the year, just dumping down to Tyler Higbee. We've seen him dump it down to Cooper Kupp. We've seen him dump it down to Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift. Teams don't care if you do that. And, at a certain point, DJ Chark or Jameson Williams needs to be able to stretch the field, because this team is going to win games if you just keep doing the same thing every single time and you lose every single time.
Yeah. Guys, let's get on to our next prompt here. Vinny's got a lead 2-0. Coop, you're going to go first in this one. Are you ready for it?
So ready.
Okay. This television show was created by Joe Murray for Nickelodeon.
By Joe Murray for Nickelodeon. I'm going to go with Hey Arnold.
It is not Hey Arnold. JL, do you have a guess?
On Nickelodeon, you said?
On Nickelodeon, I did say.
Cat Dog?
It is not Cat Dog. Vinny, do you have a guess?
I have no idea. Is it like Tom Brady's Happy Hour? I'm not sure.
It is not Tom Brady's Happy Hour.
We're going to go. You guess?
I guessed Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold. Okay.
Hey Arnold. JL, you guessed Cat Dog. Vinny guessed Tom Brady's Happy Hour. Here is your next clue. The show premiered on September 18th, 1993, and ended on November 24th, 1996, totaling 4 seasons and 52 episodes. Coop, so I gave you the time frame there. Mid-90s. You got a guess?
Yeah. Is it All That?
It is not All That. Great guess, though. JL?
I think this is later than that. Courage, the Cowardly Dog?
It is not.
No,
Courage
that's
the
Cartoon
Cowardly
Network.
Dog.
JL, what are you doing?
JL.
Vinny, you got a guess?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it out. I'm embarrassed that I know the show, but Clarissa Explains It All.
What?
It is not Clarissa Explains It All, but what a great goal
guess.
if I would have put that in there. Oh, man.
I would have been
Vinny.
so mad at you, Simon, if you went.
Great show,
like
dude.
that.
I love when she would play the computer games. That was cool. So, anyway.
Okay, here's your next clue. I'm not sure if this one's going to give it away. The main character has a dog named Spunky.
Ooh,
Well, I'm going to change a little bit. The titular character has a dog named Spunky.
Yeah, I got this. It's Doug is the show.
It is not Doug.
What?
It is not Doug. JL?
Spunky? Oh,
Dog
no.
named Spunky. I think I might have it.
I don't know. I'm like blanking right now.
You got a guess?
Cat Dog.
You already guessed that.
It is still not Cat Dog.
Damn it.
Vinny, that means we're on to you. You got a guess?
God. It's on Cartoon Network, so this is right. Dexter's Laboratory.
It is not Dexter's
show.
Laboratory.
I
but
think I got
what
this.
show?
I think I got the answer.
Okay, well, I'm going to give one more clue, Coop,
Okay.
and then you can go next. In this show, there is a character
right.
named Heifer Wolf.
I got it. It's Rocco's Modern
Is
Life.
the name what?
It is Rocco's Modern Life. Nice job, Coop. Nice
Let's
job.
go,
Forgot
dude.
about
You
that
got
show,
that one
honestly.
correct.
Bro,
Coop, that is going to give you 1 point for that one.
I got
have one
I got to point something out regarding that show that somebody pointed out to me, and when they pointed out to me, I was like, "Wait a second, that is a little weird." Is that Heifer? His friend Heifer? Is he a wolf or is he's supposed to be a cow? Right?
He's a steer. Yeah, he's a male cow. Is what
Dude,
he is.
one of the main character traits of that cow is that he loves eating hamburgers. Right? On the
Yes.
show.
Oh, it's messed up.
That's messed up, dude. Like, I wonder if they thought about that at all before they decided that.
Oh,
would be
I'm
the
sure
guy.
it's
Surely
intentional.
it was 100%. That whole
That's
show was full
sick.
of like innuendo and double
Yeah.
entendres, and like it was it was a different day for Nickelodeon when Rocco's Modern Life came out. Like it
He
was
said that show was super messed
That
up.
show was pretty messed up, dude. It really
Vinny,
was.
did you watch Rocco's Modern Life?
I don't think I did. I didn't really have cable a lot at this time, but I watched Clarissa Explains It All. Like I still kind of like Melissa Joan Hart, so that's probably why. But
Man, some of those Nickelodeon shows were wild at the time. Coop, that's going to give you 1 point. We're going to move on to our next prompt, and shout out Dustin in the chat getting this one, and I believe Dustin also got Goff on the first one. So Dustin killing it so far.
Oh boy, Dustin.
You guys ready for the next prompt, JL? You're going to go first on this one.
Can't wait.
Here we go. Despite running a 4.36 40-yard dash at his pro day, this player went undrafted in the 2016 NFL draft.
2016 NFL draft. Despite running a 4.6.
4.36.
4.36. That's
4.36.
fast. Yeah. 4.6 is slow. 4.36 is.
2016. I'll go with Philip Lindsay.
It is not Philip Lindsay. Vinny, do you have a guess?
yeah, I think I have the answer. If it's based on the speed, is it Raheem Mostert?
It is not Raheem Mostert. Great guess though. Coop, you got a guess?
He's too old, I think.
Is it Austin Eckler?
It is not Austin Eckler. We're going to move on to our next clue. He has 206 receiving yards on the season. So 206 receiving yards this year on the season. Undrafted, ran a 4.36 in 2016 and 206 receiving yards on the season is what you know so far.
Let's go with, I think this is no way that he was in 2016. Let's go with Jamal Williams.
It is not Jamal Williams.
He was a 4th round pick.
Vinny, you got a guess for us?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Isaiah McKenzie.
It is not Isaiah McKenzie, but another good guess. What about you, Coop?
Damn. Undrafted player, been in the league for quite a bit. Is it only 260 yards? Is it? I honestly have no idea. Let me throw out
any name.
Adam Thielen.
It is not Adam Thielen. I guess not any name. It's actually one specific name. Here's your next clue. JL, you're going to go first. No one sends this player to the locker room.
What?
That's the clue. No one sends this player to the locker room.
Oh boy.
The oh boy from Vinny.
Shoot. Let's go with. No, I think he was drafted. James Conner
is not James Conner. Vinny, you got a guess?
Why would he doesn't have 200 receiving yards?
I'm trying to figure out what your clue means. I'm wondering if it's like some weird backdoor Dirty Dancing reference. No one puts baby in a corner.
No one puts baby in a corner.
Nobody puts this person in the locker room. So
got to be a quote.
Yeah, is it somebody named Gray or Swayze? Is my guess. So Gray or Swayze or Gray Swayze.
Gray Swayze is incorrect. I like the guess though. We got one more. Or Coop, it's your guess, right?
Yeah. Is it Robbie Anderson?
It is Robbie Anderson. That is the correct answer, Coop. No one sends Robbie Anderson to the locker room.
Nice.
Your last clue is going to be that he just got traded to a new team. So, Coop, that is going to give you 2 more points, putting you in the lead 3-2 over Vinny. Tommy got it in the chat, and Dustin got it over there in the YouTube chat.
So nice I hadn't heard that comment though. When did he say that, and why?
He was after he was sent to the locker room in the game before he got traded. He said, I was honestly confused and upset by it, as I should be. I don't see nobody that's a true competitor and knows the value they bring, that's a true competitor and has a true passion for the game, that's okay with being told not to do something or being taken out of something when they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So he went off, said, do not send me to the locker room. I'm killing it. He said, I didn't do anything wrong. Don't send me to the locker room.
I remember he was upset about getting benched. That's why I guessed him, but I didn't. I just hadn't heard the quote, so I was looking for the context.
My favorite stat this week, folks. Panthers win. They're in first place. That is.
It's absurd, isn't
that
it?
is
Just
terrible.
Who
terrible.
are the Panthers playing again this weekend?
Falcons.
It's the Falcons,
Yeah,
right?
if the Falcons win, aren't they in
one
first
of them
place?
is going to be.
Yeah, whoever wins that
whoever
game
wins.
is in first place. But the Panthers, their only 3 wins could be in the division and first place.
Imagine they trade away Robbie and CMC and win
That's
the division.
it. And get rid of Matt Rule, get rid of Robbie, get rid of CMC.
Addition
That's all you do. Bench
subtraction.
Baker, bench Sam Darnold. That's all you do.
That's all you got to do is get your third string quarterback in, trade away your number one running back, your number 2 wide receiver, and fire your head coach. And it's a winning recipe, guys. Take notes, rest of the league. Before we get into our next prompt, we had some questions in here that I wanted to answer. Vinny, maybe you can help us out. Will in here said, should I start Pollard or Foreman? So Vinny, with Zeke not playing this weekend, are you starting Pollard or Foreman?
I want to go with the more talented player on the better team. I think Tony Pollard is a top 5 running back, honestly, without Ezekiel Elliott. That matchup against the Bears, I know they were a little bit better against the run, but I kind of compare him to Ramondre Stevenson. He's kind of that type of player. And the Bears are not still good against the run. And this game script should be positive this week. The Cowboys are not going to be like the Patriots were last week. And still Stevenson put up a big game. So I go Tony Pollard 100%. Ezekiel Elliott not being in there. I think Zeke missed a game. Was it last year or 2 years ago? And Tony Pollard just went absolutely off in that game.
Absolutely 8. I'm with you. And like for some context, yesterday in office hours, a Q&A show that we have over on our channel, Front Yard Fantasy, we were getting questions like Tony Pollard or Dalvin Cook. Like those were the kinds of questions that we were getting for this week. I'm definitely starting him over Foreman because I had to sit there and think Pollard or Cook. Like I think that's the level of running back we're talking about. Coop, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm big on Pollard. And the thing is, Pollard, he's like Vinny said, he's a really talented back. And it was just that Zeke did a couple things slightly better, but that doesn't mean that Pollard can't do them. Like Pollard can pass block. Zeke's just a little better at it. Pollard can probably score at the goal line, even though he didn't this last week. But Zeke's just a little better at that. But if Zeke's not there, there's nobody on the team that does those things better than Pollard. So he's going to get a chance to do all of them. So wheels up for Tony Pollard.
It's going to be hot.
If Zeke's banged up, Zeke's going to try and play. We know Zeke, right? Like he's going to be fighting the trainers to get out there. But if he's hurt, he's hurt.
I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be in DFS this week. I was looking at FanDuel. I think Raheem Mostert is going to have big ownership. He will. And I think the third guy, if we have Chuba Hubbard out, Donta Foreman for sure in that game against the Falcons.
Philly McInnes says, I have a question for Coop. I have Goddard and someone just dropped Everett. Normally I don't carry 2 tight ends, but with the Chargers wide receivers beat up, is he worth adding and maybe starting over Goddard the next few weeks or just roll with Goddard? What are you doing, Coop?
So if I had those 2 players, I'd be playing the matchups. Like I know that because Mike Williams is out and AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are healthy, you think the upside's higher, but Goddard still runs a ton of routes. Like his usage was pretty much perfect last week. He played like 70 of 71 snaps, only pass blocked once. What's going to happen if you have those 2 players is you're going to be looking at the matchups, and Goddard, I was kind of looking at a bunch of them, and they have very similar schedules. Like coming up, Everett has a tough matchup 2 weeks from now, but so does Goddard. And then when Goddard has a good one, so does Everett. If you have a ton of space and you want to block your opponents by picking them up, then great. But otherwise, you're giving yourself a bit of a headache. I would probably just roll with Goddard and then look for upside at another position.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. Guys, let's get into our next round of fantasy detectives. We've got at least one more round to play. JL went first on that last one, which means we are back to Mr. Vinny Iyer to go first on this next round. Vinny, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll do it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, here is your question, or here is your prompt. He won Indiana's Mr. Football Award in 2013.
Oh, I got to think about this. 2013, that makes him about 30 years old, something like that. Oh, boy.
Glad Vinny did that math for us.
Yeah. God, that could be anybody.
The name of the guy? Wait, can you say the fact again, Simon?
Yeah, I would love to say the fact again. He won Indiana's Mr. Football Award in 2013.
I know it's wrong, but I'm going to say I think he's from California. Taysom Hill.
It is not Taysom Hill. I like the guess, though. Coop, who was Indiana's Mr. Football in 2013?
Taysom Hill just is Mr. Football. Is it Geno Smith?
It is not Geno Smith. JL, you got a guess for us?
Go with Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is incorrect.
No idea where he's from.
Here is your next question. In high school, when he joined the junior varsity football team, he stood 5'4". In his sophomore year, he grew 7 inches to 5'11".
What?
In 1 year.
That's great. What's that? Shin splints like crazy.
Ooh. I'm trying to even think of any players I know that are from Indiana.
I don't know any, dude. I don't know.
Like
If you had,
skill players, and I'm thinking, do they go to Notre Dame or something like that? And I did. It's hard to come up with it here. I know it's not right, but Chase Claypool. I know he's Canadian, so unless Canada is in Indiana or whatever.
Unless he was in Indiana.
Candiana. I'm sorry, it is not Chase Claypool from Candiana. Coop, you got a guess?
Yeah. It's obviously going to be Russell Wilson.
It is not Russell Wilson. It is not Russell Wilson.
He was Mr. Olympia from Virginia. He's doing all the
true.
workouts. He's doing the workouts.
Yeah. Running for president all the time.
Jill, you got a guess?
He is 2013 Mr. Football. I'm going to go with Joey Burrow.
Joey Burrow is incorrect. It is not correct. I am sorry. Your next clue is this wide receiver has 440 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. Vinny, you got an idea on this one?
Oh man, I can see him, and I know it's wrong again. Adam Thielen.
It is
he's
not
from
Adam
Minnesota.
Thielen. We had multiple people guess Adam Thielen.
All
the
states
chat.
are starting to mash up. Like my head.
I feel like if you're not from that area of the country, they do start like I can never get the order of Indiana and Illinois right, like which one's which. I mess it up every time, and I know I should figure it out, but I can't get it right. Coop, you got a guess for us?
It's easy over here where I live because it's like there's only like 2 football players that are from like Massachusetts or Rhode Island or New Hampshire. So if you just said they were from this area, we probably would have got it pretty quick. He's wide receiver, 440 yards, 2 touchdowns. Is it? He's like 30 years old. Is it Keenan Allen?
It is not Keenan Allen.
I'm gonna guess a guy, and his name is gonna be
the suspense.
Is it Mike Williams?
It is not Mike Williams. Here is your final clue.
Oh man.
This player was drafted by Washington in the 3rd round of the 2019 NFL draft.
I got it.
You got it, Vinny. You got the first guess.
Okay. I'm going to say.
You better get it, Vinny.
Yeah, I better get this one. It's Terry McLaurin.
It is Terry
Vinny, you
McLaurin.
little
Vinny
weasel.
got that one correct.
We're running out of options there.
It's 27.
I was like, I knew it wasn't Curtis Samuel because he went. I can't remember where he went, but I know it wasn't him. And I knew it wasn't. They didn't have like what's his name on the team anymore, so
yeah.
Emily got it in the chat. Terry McLaurin. Before we got it. Good morning, Emily.
Emily.
Good to see you.
So smart.
Shout
I expect all wide receivers to be from like California, like every wide receiver.
Or Florida.
And I kept thinking about it. I'm like Cooper Kupp.
Or that
he feels like a California kid. DeAndre Hopkins.
They're either
feels like California.
They're either from
kid.
Florida or that one city in Florida where everyone is from. Like there's a one city in Florida where like Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton. It's not even. It's a neighborhood. Marquise Brown's from there. Like it's crazy the number of football players that have come out of this. I think it's actually called like Hollywood or something like that. Here, I'll find it. While you guys move on.
You can find it. Vinny, I really appreciate you coming on to play this game with us today, my man.
Yeah, I wish I could have fared a little bit better, but I got the last one. So
Hey,
it's good.
that last one put you in a tie. You and Coop tied 3-3-0. So you guys are co-winners on today's show.
Yeah, it's a good way to end up with Scary Terry. I'd watch that as a horror slasher flick for Halloween. Scary Terry, like he just cuts up Carson Wentz in the middle of the night. Why did you not pass to me? Taylor Heineke throws the ball to me. Why don't you pass to me, Carson Wentz?
Dan Snyder's in his fridge.
So we get a homecoming game. We know that. Terry McLaurin, homecoming game in Indiana. Who knew?
Apparently he's from Indianapolis even.
Big,
is what I'm seeing.
He's going off, that's for sure, this week. So
absolutely going off. I wonder what his player prop lines is set at, but I'm digging that one. Guys, if you do not follow our friend Vinny over on Twitter, make sure you follow him right this instance. He's on Twitter at Vinny Iyer. That is VINNIEIYER. And you can check out his work at sportingnews.com. Just click on Vinny Iyer. The link's in his bio as well. Vinny, truly always a treat hanging with you on these Fridays. I'm looking forward to next week, my man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gus, and hopefully we'll be better detectives for you next time.
You're the perfect detective, Vinny. Have a good one. Guys, what a great guy. What a great guy. I'm going to say it every single time he comes on. Guys, coming up, we are going to be running through another prop bet draft. This one's a little bit bigger scale because we're talking all of Sunday's games. We'll be drafting prop bets and then doing an impression bet on this draft that will pay out next week. So hopefully Coop doesn't lose because he's going to be in Europe. Or, Coop, if you lose, your impression bet's definitely going to be an accent of the country you're visiting in a public place. Like you're going to have to video yourself doing it to a cashier at a restaurant or something is what it's going to be. But we have that coming up, and we're going to put together a DFS core lineup for you a little bit later in the show as well. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
It's not like Russell Wilson's throwing for 300 yards and they're just losing, what, 31-24 or something like that. That's another thing.
Go out there, sit up in that cold stadium, and come to root on that trash. I feel bad for the Denver Bronco fans. Imagine you taking your family and you say, "Let's pack up the van. We going to go see the Denver Broncos in the Walmart, guys." Right. And you get out there in that altitude, right? So now the kids already complaining. Daddy, my head hurt. Daddy, I don't feel good. Daddy, I don't want to be here. The Walmart man is up there. How come he's the cut-through? My head is hurting. It's cold, Daddy. Can I get a glizzy? And the glizzy costs, great value glizzy, costs $17. Because you got to pay $40 to $45 million for the quarterback who stinks. That's a bad fan experience right now.
Let me give you my Honey Nut Cheerios story real quick.
Yes, tell me.
I'm at the grocery store, and I got to buy Cinnamon Toast Crunch that they eat here. And there's a thing, like buy two, get two free. So it's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, Cheerios, whatever. So I get two Cinnamon Toast Crunches, and there's a Cheerios. And let's check my fourth one. And I noticed on the Honey Nut Cheerios, there's a free toy inside. And it's like all the retro 90s commercial things. So no one eats Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm going to eat a box of Honey Nut Cheerios. Just give me that toy. So, and then I'm taking the Cinnamon Toast Crunches off the shelf. And I noticed the ones behind it have the retro toy as well. We'll have three toys in this home.
I still got my adult Happy Meal toys, which they're actually going crazy on eBay right now. You know?
Are they really?
Yeah.
How did we miss?
Listen, people. There's some of them that's listed for $300,000. But yeah, you can like Fry Guy. You can get $25 for Fry Guy right now.
Oh, that's not really going wild. I thought like $300.
No, I think it will soon though. I'm gonna hold on. I got Fry Guy and Hamburglar, so I'm gonna hold on to them.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We forgot to shout out Dustin for getting McLaurin as well. Nice job, Dustin, getting that. And Hal in here had a good guess, guessing Tyler Boyd, then followed promptly by damn it, not Tyler Boyd. It was Terry McLaurin.
Worth a try, though. Worth a try.
I love that moment though. I love that I was in there with the damn it. Like with the moment of like, shoot, I should have known that one. Guys, we are going to do a week 8 player prop draft. For those of you that did not hang out with us the last time we had this going on, how this is going to work is Coop, Jalen, and I, snake draft style, are going to draft player props from these weekend's games, ones that we think are going to hit. We'll keep score over the weekend. Whoever gets the most right is the winner. The other two have to do an impression of the winner's choice. If we have a tie, then we have a tie. But Jail, you won last week, 2-1-0. Starting off pretty hot, and you made a last-second switch on one of your picks, but it didn't matter. Both of them ended up hitting, so you really picked 3 winning props last week. So I'm expecting you to keep that alive this week. I'm fully thinking I need to get all 3 of these in order to beat you.
You're thinking right. You're thinking
JL,
right.
Since you won last week, I think you get to pick whether you want to draft first, second, or third.
Don't make me go first, please.
Well, you get to pick. I just said you get to pick.
Let's make Coop go first.
Wait. You get to pick where you go. You don't get to pick where I go.
Coop goes first.
Getting a little.
Okay, Coop goes first, and now Coop, you get to pick where JL goes, second or third.
I pick JL to go second.
Okay, and then I will take third down there on the end. Before we get into this player prop draft, though, we got Hal in here asking, would you draft Rondale Moore or Claypool for Kadarius Toney? JL, are you dropping Rondale Moore or Chase Claypool for Kadarius Toney?
No.
What about you?
Neither. No, neither one of those.
No. Yeah, I'm not either. Rondale Moore is playing full snap share outside. Until that changes, like he's got a better quarterback in a better spot to succeed. Well, actually, he doesn't have a better quarterback, but he's at least ramped up. We know he's got a full role. Kadarius Toney needs to learn the full playbook, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but this offseason, Kadarius Toney didn't show up to camp, and Brian Daboll was, cool as a cucumber. He was like, yeah, we're not worried about Kadarius. He'll show up when he does. He goes, but he's not getting a playbook until he shows up here, so he should probably get down here if he wants to learn what we're doing. And then next thing you know, Kadarius showed up, but it doesn't seem like the most studious of players, if you ask me.
No. Yeah, I'm not. And that's a tricky offense to learn, right? Like that Chiefs offense isn't necessarily like show up and plug in as a wide receiver. You can't just show up and be ready to go. And Hal said Toney is a lotto ticket for the 30-state lottery. I'm with you guys. I don't think I'm dropping out of those players. If you are like truly bought in, you want to pick up Toney, I would drop Claypool over Moore if I were to drop one of those guys. But I'm not trying to drop either.
Coop, can I add a caveat to this game to make
you can add a caveat to
spice it up a little bit? Once someone picks a prop from a game, no one else is allowed to pick a prop from the same game.
What? That's crazy.
There's a lot of games this week.
Maybe same player.
Fine.
Same player. Like if someone picks a receptions prop or receiving yards prop, you can't pick a same prop for that same player.
You can water it. You can water it down if you want. I mean, there's only there's only 12 games this weekend to pick from.
I guess we could do that. JL, you want to add that wrinkle or you want to just roll?
That's fine. Cool
Let's add it. You can't pick one from the same game. That's fine.
Yeah.
And picking here at the third spot, I'm the one that probably hurts the most. You guys get the first 2 picks of your choice. But
wish I didn't let Coop go first.
You've got the first overall pick.
I'm not gonna pick one that you guys are going. I'm going with my heart here. I'm going with my love. I'm taking the first game of the weekend. In fact, unless you count Thursday as a weekend, in that case, the first game's already happened. But first game of Sunday, I'm going to take in the London game, cross that one off the board by taking Evan Ingram over 29.5 yards receiving yards.
Evan Ingram over, what was it? 29.5?
29.5. Yep.
Evan Ingram over 29.5 yards. You feeling good about Evan Ingram in this game? Is it the matchup or just his usage?
His usage, man. I mean, think about it. He's gotten the only player over the last 3 games, the only tight end over the last 3 games that has more targets is Travis Kelce. He's gotten 10 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets. Even if you get 6 targets, you're getting 29.5 yards. Let's go.
I like it. Coop coming in with the Evan Ingram prop with the first overall pick, following his heart. JL, that game's off the board now. Where are you going?
I just want to hold on. I'm pulling up I keep hitting the wrong button. Pulling up the props on this other game here.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, take my time. I'll take my time. All right. I'm going to take, let's see. I'm going to take Josh Jacobs, 85.5 rushing yards. I'm going to take the over.
Ooh, wow. 85.5 is high, but still, Jacobs, I mean, he's been obliterating that, right?
He has.
Every game. And it's a good matchup.
Time is mad.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want that one. I think that's I wouldn't have taken the over on that one. That was a little bit high, but I wanted a different prop from that game. And now here I am sitting here at the end. That was the one I had ready to go, and I'm just screwed.
Gets a little spicy when you play it this way. And now every game that we watch this week, we just know that somewhere in there, one of us is going, God damn it.
I'm so mad. I'm livid right now. I just do not feel good. Here's where I'm going. I've got the next pick. We're talking a running back that we talked about a little bit earlier as maybe a slam dunk play this week. And I'm going to take Raheem Mostert over 66.5 rushing yards in that Dolphins-Lions game. Give me Raheem Mostert over 66.5 rushing yards. Throw it on the list. And that game is off the books now. We can't take it anymore.
Raheem Mostert, what was it?
66.5.
66
over.
and a half. Oh, dude, I was actually thinking about a game. I was going to take under on Tua's passing yards in that game because it's so high. It's like 270 passing yards. I mean, if Vegas has him at 270 passing yards, he's got to be a top 5 QB start in fantasy easily, right? If Vegas is setting the line at 270, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
That is pretty high. I've got another pick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Coop.
I was going to say that might be the highest of the entire week.
I'm looking around. What was his line out again for passing yards?
271.5.
Josh Allen's is a little bit higher at 277.5 is where he's sitting at.
Against the Packers, 10-point favorites.
Yeah, against the Packers. I'm going to go to that game, though. I'm going to be on the Packers side here, and I'm going to take the Bills minus 10.5 against the Packers is what my second one is. Not a player prop, but it's going to be the over under here. And I'm going to take the Bills minus 10.5. I think they're going to blow the Packers out. And I think Aaron Rodgers gets very frustrated. I was debating back and forth between under on the Aaron Rodgers passing yards or the Buffalo Bills to cover here, but I'm going with the Bills to cover in case there's some like a garbage time yardage out there for Aaron Rodgers that gets him above that point. What do you think, JL? Raheem Mostert, do you like my picks? Double pick on the end there?
It's a nice pick. It's a nice pick.
Fine.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take the over on Kenny Pickett's interception prop, which is that's set at 1.5.
So you think he's going to throw 2 picks in this game against the
picks.
Eagles defense?
Mm-hmm.
Kenny throwing Pickett's.
Kenny throwing Pickett's. That's rude, JL, honestly, to put that on him.
It is.
Kind of love it. Kind of love it.
I love interception props though, because they like it's it's not like cheering for an under. It's still cheering for crazy football. Know what I mean? Like it's one of the like props that even though it's a negative prop, like usually like the negative ones are less fun to cheer for. It's just as fun to cheer for. Like a good interception prop is so much fun. Tommy said, "Skip diddly do, Pickett throws 2."
Ooh, I like that.
Skip diddly do.
Skip diddly D. Coop, what'll it be?
Ooh, you look at you, fancy boys. I'm gonna go with. I think I'm just gonna do all tight end props because that's what I know best. Is that cheating?
I don't think so.
Oh, but the Packers at Bills game. It's already been taken. Give me 2 seconds.
Man, I was Jail. I was so mad when you took that Raiders Bears prop. I'm gonna save what I was gonna do though, because in our DFS build, the player prop I was gonna pick is related to the player I'm going to throw into our core DFS lineup. So I'll save it there. Maybe you did a favor. Now we can tease it. Now I can tease that there's a special little player in that game that I can't wait to put into our DFS build. Tim in the chat saying Tua's throwing for 1,000. The line's not high enough. You got your prop, Coop?
I can't find I'm looking for a Tanner Hudson receptions prop for this week. Can't find one.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna find a Tanner Hudson receptions prop.
There is a Tanner Hudson touchdowns prop, but I can't find a receptions prop, unfortunately. Well, nothing. Okay, so I guess I got to go with something else. I will go with, because it would have been 0.5 or something like that. I'll go.
Philly Mac in here said, "Didn't guys say you can't pick the same player, but can pick the same game?"
No, we decided to go even spicier and go same game. You can't pick the same game. So I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb over 69.5 receiving yards. I'm feeling good about CeeDee Lamb versus the Bears this week.
CeeDee Lamb versus the Bears, taking that whole game off the chart as well. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. You were about to ask something.
Over?
Well, I took the over on that. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was set at.
69.5, John Luke. 69.5 receiving yards.
The next prop I am going to take is I get
2. I'm at the swing.
Oh man. I'm glad I didn't say it.
Well, the thing is, part of me wanted to wait for you to say it.
I'm glad you didn't.
I know, just so I could be like, I'm gonna take. I'm just gonna bet on Derrick Henry to have 100 yards against the Texans. It's nice.
Is that what the line's set at?
98 and a half. 98 and a half. But this guy against the division just crushes them. Like easily, like against the Jaguars, he's throwing them all over the place. 6 of his last 7 games against the Colts, he's had over 100 yards. And the Texans might be the team that he's the best against, even better than those two teams. So I'm just betting Derrick Henry has a 100-yard rushing game over 98 and a half.
Okay, JL, it's your pick. We're running out of games. We're running low on games here that we can pick props from. Where are you going?
I'm gonna take Marcus Mariota. 161 and a half passing yards. I'm gonna take the
over. I almost took DJ Moore under in that game and took it off the board.
And I was gonna do Marcus Mariota rushing yards. The line's sitting there at 33 and a half. I feel like dude's been running a lot recently. I loved that one, JL. You stole it from me.
You stole it.
I thought that was a good
How precious.
No, it was an anger I don't know why I agreed to this being on the end. Like why I was like, yeah, Coop, good idea. Let's make it harder and less
possible
fun
for you. Yeah. So the games that you have left are the Cardinals Vikings game, which is a fun one. The Patriots Jets, which is probably not going to be super fun. The Giants Seahawks, which is oddly a fun game. Commanders Colts, Bengals Browns. I mean, there's plenty of games for you to choose from.
Right, but a lot of these games don't have a lot of player props available. Like the Cardinals Vikings game, there's only anytime touchdown props available. There's not props on FanDuel or DraftKings.
Different websites, bro.
I am on a website that congregates all of the different books, looking at all of them. The only website that has Cardinals versus Vikings props up only has touchdown props that I'm seeing for this one. So I got to come up with something else here. And what I'm going to do.
What do you want? Scores and odds? What are you looking at?
Yep. I'm on scores and odds. I'm going to take the over on Ramondre Stevenson's rushing yards at 62 and a half. Give me the over on Ramondre Stevenson's rushing yards. Going up against the Jets. Hopefully this Patriots team can get things rolling over there. And I think he's going to hit it. He's been on a tear lately.
Probably a good bet.
62 and a half seems like a good number. And I'm not too scared of Mr. Damian Harris.
Nah. Damian Harris hardly even played. He played less than 10 snaps this week.
That did not go great for Mr. Damian Harris. Coop, do you think that's going to continue to be that way? Like, I feel like we've mentioned it already, how odd it is that the Patriots backfield has been relatively clear this year. Like, it seems like it's been predictable. Do you think we continue to see that rest of season? Like, this is Stevenson's backfield, or is Harris going to have an uptick in work?
I think he will. I think it's going to go back to a split. Belichick, he doesn't want anyone to be happy. So I think eventually
anyone to be happy.
It goes back to the classic of like, if you in fantasy football, we look at it and we say, if you have 2 running backs, why just use one? But in real life football, it's like, if we have 2, why not use 2? So I think that's how it's going to end up being, but not yet though. I think this is a great week to start and bet on Ramondre because Damian Harris is, playing football takes a lot out of you. That, the coach Harbaugh said that about Gus Edwards. He was like, he hasn't played football in 600 days. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we're going to give him a couple days off after his first game out there and, being a gladiator. So it's like, same with Damian Harris. You don't go from 0 to 100 when you had a leg injury and you couldn't even run on a treadmill, So he's got to get his stamina up. It's going to be Ramondre, but I think down the stretch, it's going to be both guys.
Makes sense. Quick recap of the props that we took, guys. Our draft is over. We each took 3. Coop took Evan Ingram over 29 and a half receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb over 69 and a half receiving yards. And Derrick Henry over 98 and a half rush yards. Coop, that one requires the sunglasses to call for any player to get 100 yards.
Hundo. On this
Shades on, haters out.
It's tough to call for any player to get 100, but if you're going to call for any player to get 100, Derrick
Henry's a pretty good bet.
Against the Texans. Come on.
Dale, your prop bets that you drafted, you took Josh Jacobs over 85 and a half rushing yards, Kenny Pickett over 1.5 interceptions, and Marcus Mariota over 161 and a half pass yards. You feeling good? You feeling confident?
Nope. But it worked last time, so we'll see.
Put some sunglasses on, bro. You'll feel better about it.
And then I was looking for sunglasses if I had any laying around.
How'd you feel? How'd you feel in that brief moment there, JL?
I felt much better. A little bit like Justin Jefferson. Or I guess More like Mike Gesicki trying to be Justin Jefferson.
I was just gonna go with
Can
this
you
one.
do that one? Can you do that one where you bend your hands? And oh wow, JL, that's amazing.
I am Batman.
I am the soldier of the night.
Well, where did Batman go?
I don't know.
That was
he had to
incredible.
go. He had something to do. Eric in here saying PPR
Oh, and I
redraft.
guess screw my picks. No one wants to hear those anyways. No one gives a shit about the picks that Simon made, right?
My
Jay?
bad. It just took us so long to get through the picks. I lost attention. Go ahead,
Dude,
Simon.
you got lost.
And then I picked
being
Raheem
Bruce
Mostert.
Wayne, dude.
Over 66.5 receiving yards. The Bills to cover -10.5. And then Ramondre Stevenson over 62.5 rushing yards were the 3 props I took. Now, Dale, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That was so rude of me.
That was such a Bruce
Eric
Wayne
in the
move, dude.
chat. PPR redraft. Thoughts on who to grab off waiver? Paris Campbell, Devin Duvernay, Donovan Peoples-Jones, or Zay Jones? Which of these guys are you grabbing off the waivers? PPR redraft league. Simon.
That's a tough question. That's some pretty good options sitting out there on the waiver wire. What do you need? Do you need stability? Do you need someone you can plug in right away and play? If so, that's going to be Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell's getting the target volume that he can be an every week starter in your team. I do have some interest in DPJ as well, but with the other names out there, I can't pick him up over Rondale Moore and Paris Campbell. I'm probably going Paris Campbell, but Rondale Moore's in consideration.
Yeah, full PPR, I like Paris Campbell. By the way, I just pulled it up. Here are the last 3 games rushing yard totals for Derrick Henry against the Texans. You guys ready?
Yeah.
250 yards, 212 yards. And then, so 2021, he played them 250 yards, then 212 yards. And the game before that, he had 211 yards. So
he's hit 200 the past 3 times he's played them on the ground.
I just need 100. So that's what I'm talking about. He owns this Texans team.
You only need him to play a half. Are you sure that wasn't his first half line?
Might have been. We'll have to double check that. But yeah, no, it looked like it was on the sheet. So
also, Philly Mac bringing up a good point says Paris Campbell with his new QB. So Coop, is it still Paris Campbell for you with Sam Ehlinger? It sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm least scared of the 3 of Paris Campbell because he runs such low A dot routes. Those are just easier for any quarterback to throw. The one caveat is that if Sam Ehlinger is as mobile as he was in college, maybe he's hesitant to dump it down. If he could, there's a chance he could go full 10 rushes Ehlinger, but I don't know. I could see him just doing a lot of dumping down to Paris Campbell, which would be good for us in fantasy.
Is that his nickname? 10 rushes Ehlinger. He goes good old fashioned 10 rushes Ehlinger. Pew, pew.
Slinger, dude.
Yeah. Over the last 3 games, Paris Campbell's usage has just been off the charts. His snap share has been plus 90%, 100% the last 2 games. Over the last 2 games, he's running a bunch of routes. He's getting targets 11 and 12 in the last 2 games. He's getting used. So if they continue to do that, and if like Coop said, the new QB relies on Paris Campbell and those low A dot routes, those short, those check downs, those just short range passes, then Paris Campbell is going to be good for fantasy.
It also helps that was the game plan the last 2 weeks coming in. They're already doing that. So it's if it could be just par for the course, 10 targets every week. Wheels up, baby. I'm on Ross St. Brown part 2. Sun God part dose.
Philly Mac had a question in here for us. He said, do you like Drake London to have a bounce back? Coop, how you feeling about Mr. Drake London, rookie wide receiver on the Atlanta Falcons?
I feel like this team can't continue what they're doing, dude. You can't throw 13 times a game. I'm sorry. No team's done it in the last 30 years. So I think Drake London's going to have his games. It's just a matter of when, unfortunately. They threw 33 times in week 1. If you take the target shares for Drake London and Kyle Pitts over the course of the season and throw it 35 times, they're easily getting between 7 and 10 targets, which is all we want in this world. So you just got to root for them to have to throw. No, root for the Panthers.
Joe, what about you?
Yeah, no, I'm with Coop.
You're with Coop? Yeah, it just comes down to the offense. Drake London's still just as talented as we thought he was, right? I still think he's one of the best rookie wide receivers out there. Just when the ball's getting thrown 13 times, it's not going to work out. And I'll say he throws as many passes as his quarterback. Yeah, just about. With the way that offense is looking right now. Hal also wanted to know, how do you guys feel about Khalif Raymond Detroit going to throw, and half their receivers are banged up. JL, how you feeling about Mr. Khalif Raymond?
Yeah, I mean, if you need to start someone this week, you could probably throw Khalif Raymond in your lineup. He is the type of guy that you can't really ever trust. He's going to pop off at times. Good luck guessing.
Yeah, anytime someone mentions Khalif Raymond, you risk summoning Better Boss to the chat. Matt Deutsch, big Khalif Raymond guy. I think
Biggest fan of Khalif
I'm,
Raymond.
I'm playing him in the Sirius XM Dino League this week, dude. He's probably starting him against me. The thing with Khalif Raymond is I like him better when Amon-Ra St. Brown is out or banged up because, as we saw last week, they like to do some of those end arounds, the shifty plays there. When Amon-Ra St. Brown is healthy, he's the one that gets them. When he's not, Khalif Raymond gets them. 2 carries for 20 yards last week, pretty decent. So if the word on Amon-Ra is that he's not playing or that he's he could be limited, then I'm a lot more likely to start Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys on that one. And Working Grind saying he was getting rushes as well for Khalif Raymond. Scott had another question for us. He said, serious fantasy question. In a PPR league, I was curious if JL can help me debug some code today. I spent 2 hours yesterday not finding the issue. So JL, in a PPR league, can you help Scott debug some code?
In half PPR, I'm not sure. My availability is limited. Full PPR, though, I'm good to go. Let's do it. Let's hop on, debug that code. We got you.
Kalua has another question for us. What's up, Kalua? Welcome in. So, guys, I asked you yesterday if I should trade one of my wide receivers for Aaron Jones. Didn't work out, LMAO. Yeah, sometimes it's a tough sell trading a running or a wide receiver for a running back. He said, should I upgrade 2 out of Hopkins, Waddle, Higgins, AJ Brown, and Amon-Ra for Jefferson? Not sure. So packaging 2 of those guys for Justin Jefferson.
What were the guys? Oh, there it is.
Hopkins, Waddle, Higgins, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. 2 of those guys for Jefferson. No, those are all elite guys. Those are guys. If I was drafting today, I'd be taking those guys between the first and the 3rd/4th round. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is in there. He sneaks into that 3rd round territory. So all those guys, it's just not worth it for me to upgrade to Jefferson. I don't think he's going to give you that much more.
Before the Chase injury, I might have said Amon-Ra and Higgins and just lock in Jefferson and then have 4 stud guys. But I would just hang with what you have. Right. Well, what if he only has to start 3 wide receivers? Then
maybe I still think
2
you're
wide
probably
receivers
paying
are
too
flex.
much, but maybe like Hopkins and Waddle.
You think
For
Amon-Ra
Jefferson,
St.
if you
Brown
guys
is
do
better than Waddle?
I think they're around the same. I think they're back to back.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
I think Waddle's a little bit higher than Amon-Ra for me in my eyes. Like I just view him
Number
a little
2
bit
versus
higher.
number 1 on his team.
Yeah, but we've seen what Waddle and Tyreek can do. Like it's like a 1A, 1B. You know what I mean?
St. Brown can do.
I mean, but like JL, that's not a good enough argument because Darnell Mooney's the 1 on his team and T. Higgins with Jamar Chase is the 2 on his team. Give me T. Higgins over Darnell Mooney every day of the week. Know what I mean? Like just being the 1 on a team doesn't necessarily make you better than the 2 on another team automatically for fantasy.
No, it's the averaging over 20 fantasy points a game that really does it for me.
See, cool. So that's not what you said though. What you said was I'll take the 1 over the 2.
Right.
And that's what I was
one
like.
of my teams.
Ooh, getting spicy.
Getting a little spicy. No, I'm not too spicy yet. Joe, we might get spicy later. That's not what I meant, but it came out like that. Kalua said, I offered Waddle and Higgins for Jefferson, but canceled after the injury. Yeah, I think that's probably a good play, not offering that out there.
Yeah. Higgins, wheels up, baby.
Wheels up. Yeah. Guys, if you've got anything you want to call in and talk about, a reminder, all you have to do to call in is hit that call in button on the app. Make sure you have the Bettor Sports Network app downloaded. It's a 1 push to call in and come up and talk with us. Whether it's fantasy, Halloween, weekend plans, game day rituals, you want to show off a piece of your collection, your fast food mascot merch, whatever it is, call in. We want to hear from you guys. It's Friday, so we can there's no rules. Keith isn't allowed to tell us to shut up about anything.
Shut up, Keith. Yeah. Plus, it's my last show before vacation. So let's do whatever we want for a little bit.
Coop, what's the one thing you are most excited about, like location or activity on your trip to Europe?
I mean, obviously me being a dude, it's riding It's
a dude.
It's riding some sort of panoramic train while I'm in Switzerland. Like
panoramic train.
Oh my god.
Super excited.
What's a panoramic train?
I think it's these trains that have like, good views on all sides.
Oh,
So, yeah, pretty excited to ride one of those trains, dude.
No scope 360 train.
Exactly, bro. From the top ropes to win the game, chicken dinner. So yeah, pretty excited.
I would be hyped about riding a train. Trains are badass. That's just something where like every time I see a train, Jail, I have a distinct memory of me, you, and Tim going to Pancho's Mexican restaurant for an event in college. It was out in Pendleton, and we all get in the car and we drive out to Pancho's, and we get out of the car, and there's a train track right by the parking lot, and a train is zooming by without saying a word. None of us spoke. Instead of turning and walking the other direction towards the restaurant, we all turned and just stood there together watching the train drive by. And then afterwards we walked, like it was like this unspoken thing, like
zero memory of that.
We got to watch this train. And then we go
to watch the train.
All pumped.
That's a cool memory.
It's like a distinct memory. I'm like there was this unspoken thing, like dudes like trains, and we're going to watch this train together. Dudes like trains. All dudes like trains.
Dudes like, I feel like normal dudes like trains when they're right in front of them. And then weird dudes like trains when like all the time.
Yeah. So like, yeah, exactly. So if you click on my YouTube account, like half the recommended videos are like trains.
Are trains. Yeah. See,
so
one third of people are way too into trains.
Way too. At least 1/3 of the people
have you seen the wildly wholesome TikTok train guy? Like he's like the most wholesome. He wears a fisheye lens, like GoPro camera on his head like this, and goes train watching. And every time the train comes by, you have never seen a more excited human being in your entire life. And the trains always honk for him. And like, it is truly it's like borderline makes you want to cry. It's such wholesome content watching on that app.
If you want
the train guy,
I got some validation in the chat. The coolest dude around, Timothy Wright, says trains are sweet.
Trains are sweet.
Cool
Tim,
dude.
do you remember that memory?
We'll do like Tim. He knows.
I want Ponchos though.
Guys, coming up, we are going to set a DFS core lineup for you guys for this weekend and have some more Free Talk Friday. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, make sure you call in, get the Bettor Sports Network app downloaded, and come hang out with us for a little bit at the end of this show on this Friday afternoon. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Bettor Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach. Makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting to bring up personal.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at like Eton Thomas. Like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right.
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
It's interpretation, and that's my
Right.
problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to mine.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We're practicing our A's for Coop's trip to London over the last 30 minutes. That's all we're doing, Coop. Give us a good A. Let us know if you got it in you.
A.
Oh, man, you've been practicing. You've been doing your
Pretty
Duolingo,
strong.
Haven't you?
Pretty strong, dude. Yeah, I've been
Duolingo British.
messaging Murph. Did you see we had Murph on the other day, 5-yard rushes out there. Did you see the itinerary I sent to him for my trip to London?
I did. I was cracking up. I was laughing.
He was like, what do you got planned? I was like, here's what I have on the list so far. Find Banksy, reveal his identity, and fish and chips.
They still haven't found that guy yet?
He's that. Well, they have an idea of who he is. All the artists know who he is, but they would never reveal his identity, even if they hate him. So
I'm so disconnected from the Banksy world.
You're not deep in the graffiti scene.
You're not into the self-shredding art scene. That's not your vibe, JL.
Not my vibe.
Well, guys, as somebody who spent an afternoon on the graffiti subreddit, I feel like I'm an expert on this topic, and I can say definitively,
Chris,
I don't know what's going on.
Chris in the chat said, half PPR, my dogs in the squad right now are Jalen Hurts, Waddle, Eckler, Jones, and Andrews. The rest of my team is sketch. Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, Latavius Murray, Eno Benjamin, Romeo Dobbs, Taysom Hill. Any trade ideas?
I mean, I like Thielen. I think Thielen's pretty. If you like certain players, like if you like Gabe Davis and guys like that, what's not to like about Thielen? He's about the same. He's consistent targets, gets 50 to 70 yards, and either scores or he doesn't. So I'm pretty good with those guys. If I was going to do anything, I would take Dobbs and Taysom and try and trade those guys. I would take Eno and Dobbs are, to me, expiring assets. James Conner's coming back, which hurts Eno, and then everything we've heard from Aaron Rodgers this week sounds like it's directed right at Romeo Dobbs. The stuff about mental mistakes, he's the one that has drops in back-to-back games. He's the one playing a huge snap share when he said maybe we should be cutting guys reps. So I'm scared about Dobbs. Those are the two guys I'd be looking to trade, and I would try and package the two of them up, or the two of them, one of them would taste them to get somebody you can start in place of Andrews if he's going to be hurt.
Chris, I am crossing your fingers. I am putting water under my pillow, doing a rain dance or whatever for a Taysom Hill 2-touchdown game this weekend is what I'm doing. I am praying that we get 2 catches for 20 yards, 3 rushes for a touchdown, and a passing touchdown from Taysom Hill, and then send his ass off to upgrade somewhere else. JL, what are you doing with this team?
I wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts were on DJ Moore. Do you try and trade DJ Moore after that big week? Or are you trying to hold DJ Moore?
You can try. Know what I mean? Like, you can try. I think this is one of those players where, like, we talked about it yesterday on our show, JL. Some players' values are stickier than others whenever it comes to, like, people adjusting, whether it's up or down. And I think it's based on, like, one, expectations and what have they done for me recently, like over the past couple weeks, like, or this season. DJ Moore, I think, has got some stank on him from fantasy managers. Like, they are still not buying in, even though he had a pretty good game with PJ Walker last weekend. I think this Panthers team and DJ Moore has too much stank that you're not going to get, like, wide receiver 2 value for him. And I think that's what he is. Like, he's a wide receiver 2. I just don't think you'll get that for him back.
Yeah. In your league, that's the thing, is in most casual leagues, no one's thinking about DJ Moore as much as you are, because you're the guy that has DJ Moore. Most people just aren't thinking about him, unless they're the kind of people that are in a bunch of different leagues, and then they might be thinking about him. But you're the only person that's sitting there saying to yourself, oh, nice, PJ Walker. like the random guy in your league you're going to try to trade him to is not thinking that hard about DJ Moore and the change in situation. So they're not going to value him the way you are. So if anything, I would probably just keep him or maybe trade for him if you believe in the Peach.
Believe in the
Peach. Believe in the Peach, Jail. Do you believe in the Peach?
I believe that the Peach exists. I don't believe that the Peach can be the Beach. You know what I mean?
I became a Peach believer watching him in the XFL for a couple of games. Like I was like, I saw that dude playing, and I was like, I want him to get a shot. Like I just want to see this dude. Whenever he got the start last year, I was like, this is his chance. It's going to be the best comeback story of all time. Like goes to the other league, then gets a chance because of how he performed. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I like cheering for PJ Walker. He's fun to cheer for. Tommy's saying, free the Peach. Free the Peach. We got to get t-shirts that say free the Peach on them.
That's a good idea. I'm writing it down.
Everyone's going to want those.
Everyone's going to want a free the Peach shirt.
I could see Tim Wright rocking a free the Peach tank top to the beach, dude.
100%. And he's wearing a kimono over it, without a doubt. He's got a kimono over his free the Peach tank top.
Now that I look around this chat, Craig, Joey, Tommy, we actually probably would sell a few of them. Like we have people that we have the right kind of people for that shirt in this chat.
Beach to beach.
Tommy said already printing. Will be in the Bettor shop this weekend. If you guys want your free the Peach shirt, check out the Bettor shop this weekend. We're gonna get it right there. We had a question from Philly Mac in here. He said, "Have to pick one of these guys up for my flex spot for my flex spot." I'm doing weird pauses today. He said McKenzie or Shakura, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Romeo Dubs, DPJ, or Slayton. Any of them stand out? JL, do any of those players stand out to you as the one that you would want to be starting this week?
Lay them on me again.
They are Isaiah McKenzie, Khalil Shakir, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Romeo Dobbs, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Darius Slayton.
I think you got to start McKenzie. They're using him in that offense. Out of these guys, he's the one I'm most confident in that can just pop off and have a game.
What about you, Coop?
He's the safest. He's safe, but the thing is he still doesn't play a full snap share. It's like you have to go safe versus upside with this crew. So I'm either starting McKenzie,
London,
or I'm going big with London or DPJ. I mean DPJ.
I'd be okay with the London pick.
Njoku out. Yeah, London's but again, London. Yeah. London has a pretty low floor too, though. You know what I mean? Like, so if you
Carolina,
if you feel good about your lineup, throw McKenzie in there. He's probably got a good floor. If you need the highest ceiling play, Drake London.
There's no consideration for Darnell Mooney. No love for Mr. Darnell Mooney. I mean, past 2 weeks, 12 targets in week 6, 6 targets in week 7. He's put up decent numbers, over 50 yards in each of those games without a touchdown. Like, you're not hyped, but last week, 11.3 points from Darnell Mooney. You're pretty happy, right? And then, sorry, that was not 11.3. It was 8.3 PPR points from Darnell Mooney. Week before, what is that? Like 13.8 PPR points, 12.8. Like you're fine with that. And they're likely going to be down against the Cowboys. It looks like they're trying to open up the passing game a little bit in Chicago. I think I'd roll Mooney out. Like I think Mooney's in that same tier as London. Like if you're considering London in a low passing volume, I think Mooney's in that same tier.
It depends what version of Trevon Diggs we get this week, right?
Yeah.
Like Diggs could have 2 picks. Defense. Yeah, but he's also the one that's most susceptible. Like Mooney, he could lock Mooney down and have 2 picks, but he's also the one that's most susceptible to letting Mooney score like a 70-yard touchdown too. So, it could go either way. He fits in the same category as London, where it's like the ceiling is high, but the floor is
The floor is not there. Trey had another question for us. He said, "Morning, gents. Quick question. Full PPR, sit 1. So that's to bench one of these players. Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, or Devonta Smith. Thanks and good luck this week." Thanks and good luck to you, Trey.
Question. Coop, love you guys' questions.
Coop, which one of these players would you be benching? Olave, Etienne, or Devonta Smith?
As crazy as it sounds, I think I would bench Devonta Smith. Olave had 14 targets last week. Travis Etienne gets the first week of being the top dog, the boss hog. I'm not too worried about JaMychal Hasty, so I think I'd go that way. If you wanted to just be a real conservative boy, then maybe you wait and see Travis Etienne one time. But I want to get him in there. I don't know, JL, are you ready to rock right now with Etienne? You've been waiting.
I am. He's got Denver this week, which is a tough matchup, but it's wheels up for Travis Etienne. He's the only guy there. We're throwing him in. We're throwing Travis Etienne in. between Devonta Smith and Chris Olave, it's fairly even. Devonta Smith has Pittsburgh, which is second worst defense for wide receivers, second easiest defense for wide receivers. Tim,
we said his name too many times. It's like Beetlejuice. Tim shows up. What? Tim, welcome in.
How you do? How you boys doing today?
Better now.
Better now.
Way better now.
I'm excited, boys. It's a great weekend of football. Halloween weekend's here.
What you being for Halloween?
Yeah, what's your costume, Tim? You're a Halloween lover.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be buzzed Aldrin.
Nice.
Nice.
Is there anything like indicating that you're buzzed, or you're just gonna be buzzed, but also Buzz Aldrin?
No, I got a whole NASA jumpsuit. I have ski goggles that look like a space visor. I got this ray gun thing that makes the most fantastic ray gun noise ever. It's gonna be an absolute blast.
Let's
so
go,
excited.
dude.
Yeah. And the buzzed is. Do you have any like beer? Like, is your space helmet a Bud Light box or something like that?
No, that's a good idea, but I think the night is just gonna make the buzzed come.
You're gonna do that part.
You just
that part's manual.
That's what I was asking. That's what I was asking.
You'll start the night as Buzz Aldrin, then about an hour in be Buzzed Aldrin, and then at the end of the night be Drunk Aldrin.
Then be Blackout Aldrin.
Someone's gonna take that gun and hide it at some point on you. I'm fairly confident.
No doubt. What do y'all got going on this weekend other than football, which is fantastic?
You know, I was thinking about flying to Iceland and staying in Europe for like 3 weeks. So I think
really.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that.
If you need some tips, let me know.
The traditional way to celebrate Halloween is to fly to Iceland and spend 3 weeks in Europe.
Tim, do you have any good travel tips for me for traveling to Europe? Anything in your travels that you've come across?
Tim, just so you know,
that might help me out.
We've already hit. Always talk loudly. Assume everyone speaks English at all times, and say while in London as many times as possible. Jail, what was the line again? I can't remember.
Not me. Not Hermione.
You, Harry. Yeah, we got to bring up.
We've already covered those.
Also want to engage as many people, especially if they're keeping to themselves. Engage as many people in conversations about how America won both world wars. You know, so
yeah, that's a good one. I think you got to make sure that you refuse to use euros. I think if you carry around just American money, dollars,
that's a good one.
This is the global standard. Like
the global standard.
You're welcome.
It's not my fault. My money's better than yours, right?
No, we don't take American. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Do you guys take these? And I just put like a bar of gold on the table.
Just a bag of spice.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Wherever I get, I mean, it's gonna save me a lot of without having to exchange anything, just to kind of ride it.
Yeah. Why exchange when yours is the best anyway? Doesn't make any sense.
That's smart. You're always end it with a "you're welcome."
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Make sure. I mean, we're talking football. Make sure you talk as much real football as we can, right? I mean, that's a must.
Keep asking if they saw the game last night, but make sure you're always referring to American football and then get upset whenever they bring it. But make sure it's like the day after like a big Liverpool game or something like that.
You watched the football game last night?
You watched the football game last night? No, sorry. I was talking Broncos Jaguars, not the Liverpool game.
I'll be like, yeah, I'll talk about that. I'll be like, did you see the footy game? And then when they say Broncos Jaguars, yeah, that's perfect. And I imagine they would really appreciate it, Tim, if I use the term real football as well. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Trey had another question for us to follow up on. So Tim, you can help us with this probably. Actually, he said one more with the Chase news: full PPR, Jerry Jeudy or Tyler Boyd. Thanks again, fellas.
Wow. What are you doing, Tim?
I'm gonna roll out Boyd. He helped me out last week. I like him a lot. I mean, he's done nothing but prove that he's a solid receiver. Joe Burrow's hitting his stride, and I think that offense is gonna keep on purring. Give me.
Yeah,
man,
it's tough. It's tough to have to after that.
That game's set to be a higher scoring game too. Like the Broncos Jags game in London, 9:30 a.m. It's like 39.5 over under. Not supposed to be a high. You're better odds of getting in a shootout with that Monday game. Plus Monday night's a lot more fun than Sunday.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Come on, I want to play on Halloween.
And then you get the added bonus of like Monday night stress. Like I love the oh God, I need 14 points from Tyler Boyd tonight or I'm going to lose. Like that is one of the joys of fantasy football that you don't get to experience every week because you need things to line up. You need that Monday night player and you need to be in a hole. And if you can just set the pieces in motion, yeah, you got to be in a hole. That's
Gotta be
step
in a
number
hole.
one.
And
The
also-
whole weekend.
Also,
One, be in a hole.
of all the teams out there, think to yourself. Think hard about this one. What team has the spookiest colors?
The Bengals.
Orange and
The
black
Pittsburgh
on
Steelers.
Halloween. Pittsburgh Steelers aren't kind of spooky. Same with the Raiders. Raiders may be a little spooky. Probably top 3 spookiest colors. What team has
Raiders
the
are very spooky.
What team has the least spooky colors? And why is it the team?
Washington.
Why is it the
Washington.
jersey?
It's
why
the
is it-
Dolphins. It's
The
Mr.
Dolphins.
Neon Blue on the screen right now.
Probably.
Yeah, the
Probably
mascot
least.
is the dolphin, like man's friendliest ocean creature.
The only other animal that has sex for fun.
Okay, well, what's the
Dogs
second,
of the sea.
what's the second least spooky? What's the second least spooky? Because the
Not
Dolphins-
the Jaguars.
Dolphins
Because I feel
are
like the
way on
Jaguars
top.
are muted enough. Honestly, the Vikings aren't very. Purple can be a spooky color. You know what I mean? Purple can be used in Halloween stuff.
The Giants look like Fisher Price.
Yeah, they do kind of.
Yeah. The
Jet-
Giants,
the Jets.
Giants and Bills are both very like America Fisher Price Rocket Pop colors.
Jets
Like,
are
that's-
just moss. Just moss.
The Cardinals, I mean, red and black is kind of cool, but the bird, the cardinal, I'm not really exactly scared of that.
Birds are scary, dude.
Birds are scary. I'm
Birds can
on.
be scary.
I'm on
Cardinals
Tim's
are
side
not
here.
scary.
But our birds
Cardinals
real.
Are just little.
Yo, Cardinals are mean. Cardinals are mean
They're
birds.
mean, but they're
No, they're
little.
really-
Like they're mean to other birds. They're not like they're just whatever to humans.
Yo,
Like
Jail,
they're
you
no,
say
they're
that
no
now
crows.
while you're a human. Just wait till you're a
True.
bird.
Wait till I get
and-
reincarnated.
Wow.
or turned into one by a wizard. Like, don't act like reincarnation is the only route to you becoming a bird. That's insane.
That's true.
Jail.
How ignorant.
Bro, I hate when that happens.
when the
Scott
wizard
just said Ravens team is
Got a
literally
lot,
named
bro.
after an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Okay,
That's
Scottfish.
true, but
That's okay.
it's a scary Edgar Allan Poe story. And if you ever been to a Ravens game, right when they come out of the locker room to like entrance or whatever, they bring out these giant like cemetery gates, and then they put a bunch of fog and fire, and all the players run it through it. They turn off all the lights in the stadium, and it's just like dark, and you just see like Lamar Jackson come running out of the tunnel with fire and cemetery.
Baltimore
and
Ravens, sponsored
chains.
by Spirit Halloween.
For real.
Giant
For real. It
decorations and
should
the
be.
fog
It
coming
should
out.
be. It's a
you're-
giant Halloween decoration.
Tim
This
told
is
us
spooky.
Tim told us what he was going to be for Halloween, but I don't think anybody else here said what we were going to be. JL, do you have a costume planned
I
for
don't
Halloween?
yet. I don't
You
yet.
don't?
I have
Yeah.
tomorrow to figure it out.
Okay, so we got to come up. I need help on mine because I have a pirate outfit that I wore to the Renaissance Festival, and it's a good pirate outfit. Like I got like the fancy ruffled shirt, but on Halloween, I want to turn it into like something. I want it to be a pun or a something. No, like Tim, you're Buzzed Aldrin. Like, what kind of pirate can I be? Like a something pirate that is going to like elevate this costume to the next level.
Butt pirate.
But yeah, that's exactly what Tommy said was butt pirate as well.
You could be pirated and then just have like the screen that they show before you illegally or definitely legally download a movie.
And then I
yeah.
randomly scream things like brought to you by moviesexpress.com. Like
You just
while I'm
grab-
walking around.
You just grab people by the shirt and you're like, "Would you steal a car?" No.
There are songs that I listen to this day where like I start singing parts and I'm like, wait, that was just because I downloaded it illegally off LimeWire and they put that in there. Like where there's like little like watermark tags in the music.
Yep.
And my middle school self thought it was part of Down by Jay Sean, was that they just randomly said these things like express music in the middle of like the instrumental part.
Yeah, Scott Fish says, I love that Simon claims he got the puffy shirt for the costume. I immediately just pictured Simon rocking like a puffy shirt like in Seinfeld, where he wears it on the talk show.
Oh, yeah.
Just like it's a normal shirt, guys.
It's just puffy.
Yeah,
I found a video I took of because Maria and I went to the Bengals Ravens game just a couple weeks ago, and I did take a video of their entrance, but I don't think I can get it to Keith and get it uploaded in time. So I'll just have to tweet it out. You guys can see it a little bit later here.
It'll be pretty sick.
My costume. So like we're gonna kind of makeshift something. If we end up in Iceland, I don't even know what the Iceland scene is for Halloween, but I do know that they kind of celebrate it there. But you can't really pack a full costume. I'm packing for 3 weeks. I can't really use that much space on a costume. So I'm going to be watching football at various bars on Sundays. So I'm bringing a Patriots jersey, and worst case scenario, I'm just going to throw on some eye black and be a NFL.
The classic bro Halloween costume.
But-
Throw on your jersey and put some eye black on.
But the thing is, in
Lazy.
Iceland,
it's not.
it's
You're
not-
right. You're
hey,
gonna
in
stand
Iceland,
out.
it's an exotic costume. So
That's
lazy
like
JL. How dare
I
you?
felt when I was on the beach in Miami being chubby. I was like, wow, I am exotic because everyone here is in such good shape. Just unbelievable shape. Leanne pulled up pictures of our Halloween costumes from last year. And she was Edna Mode and I was Jack Jack.
Oh,
And
nice.
man, I just want to say I killed it and it is not flattering. I look just like a chubby baby in a onesie.
I
with a
remember
mask
that.
on. Like it is painful to look at whenever I look back at those pictures. We had a question in here. This one's coming from George Cook. Tim, it's involving one of your Dolphins, but it's also involving the player with maybe the best hair in the league that I know you love. Mike
Damn.
Gesicki versus Greg Dulcich. Who are you starting this week, Gesicki or Dulcich?
I don't know. These are dart throws that I just hurt throwing. I want to believe in Dulcich. He's looking good. I just don't believe the Broncos at all. So give me Gesicki on a flyer. I mean, maybe we run it up this week. And I'm also completely biased, so that's part of it. But I'll take Gesicki. I think Dulcich is more fun to pick. So
Yeah.
Cooper, tight end, man. Where are you going?
I have him very close. I have him very close in my rankings. But for me, I do have Dulcich slightly ahead just because of his matchup's pretty good, and Gesicki has a good matchup too, though. Don't get me wrong, but he's just playing. Gesicki's kind of been like rotating in. It's interesting where he's like rotating with Sherfield. Dude, Sherfield kind of pops every once in a while. If Sherfield would go away, Gesicki would move up in my rankings. But it's like because they have the two wide receivers and then those two rotating, I kind of lean Dulcich. So, but it's very close. So I would just go with your gut on ones like that when it's the same tier. I have them the same tier.
Get Weird Al in your lineup. Start Greg Dulcich. That's where I'm going. I want him in there. If it's close, I'm going to go with the one that's more fun for me. And that's
also, speaking of fun, like, if you're going to be up in the morning watching that football game, it's nice to have a player in it. There's not a lot of players from that game that you can start. So, it's kind of fun having Dulcich in the morning game. Gesicki's going to be lost in the sauce at 1:00 with everybody.
Lost in the sauce. The other half of this question, George wanted to know, would you start the Jets or the Jags D this weekend? Jags going up against the Broncos, like we just stated, and the Jets playing New England.
Tough question, dude. I literally have them back to back in my defense rankings too. JL, you got to answer this one.
I have Jets. Decent, more than a few spots ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. The Jets going against the New England Patriots. We saw how dysfunctional the New England Patriots looked this past weekend. It's the Jets. Sauce Gardner. I think they'll be able to give old Billy Belichick a run for his money.
What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I don't like the Patriots, so I'll go Jets.
I like the Patriots, and I'd still pick the Jets. Like, I think Mac Jones on tilt, man. The interception he threw, like he feels like he's got to make something happen, and that's not his style. So interceptions could be on the table.
Dustin came in here and said, my 9-year-old son just came in. He heard the Dolphins and said, I quote, the Dolphins are doo-doo. I must be doing something right as a dad. Dustin's a Bills fan over there, so he's training him from a young age. Tim, I want to thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us today, my man. We love you so much.
Man, Tim.
Go kill it as Buzz Aldrin this weekend. I wish I could be there as a Buzz Pirate with you.
Without a doubt.
See you, Tim.
Good dude.
Great guy. I love Tim.
We love Tim.
Tim, yesterday I get a text from Tim. He goes, tell me I couldn't be Wolverine. It's just what the text says. I haven't texted him in 3 days, and that's all he sends over. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this Friday on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. A reminder, right after this, Moose and Keith, they are giving away a Londale White autographed Tennessee Titans jersey. So make sure you are there for that. After that show, we're going to be talking lunch money presented by Fantasy Gurus, and then Corey Nando and friends coming up after that. We got a fun weekend of football ready. Don't forget London games, so set your lineups ahead of time before you go to bed. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we are out of here.
Bye-bye.
See you on another time. Coop, enjoy Europe, my man.
Miss you guys.
Miss you too.